It's that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Wednesday, we are almost halfway through the week. By the time this show ends at 2 p.m., we will be halfway through the week. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports. We have some giveaways for you, of course. Mike Epps, also Quick Quack.
Quack.
Chris Watkins, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Okay, good.
I'm great.
Dave she's trying to get you, man.
No, you know
He's
what?
Trying to get you caught up.
It's fine. I don't have.
You don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem with it.
No. Hey, no problem.
It always is funny to kind of peel back the curtain, because when you hop in here, sometimes whoever was on before you, which is always Dave, for me, his tabs are always still open.
Oh my gosh.
So it's always interesting to see what Dave was getting
Right.
into. And this one says, the first one is, can a cheetah,
right,
leopard, or lion, and I would,
this is from,
kill a honey badger.
right.
And then the next one is hippo steak. It's just a Google search of hippo steak. And now I don't want this.
Have you ever seen like the,
I don't want to see this.
they do it with like Game of Thrones. Have you ever seen like on Twitter, they'll do like spoiler-free recap of Game of Thrones this week.
Yeah.
And it's just like 4 random memes or like random pictures, and you have to piece it together. And if you've seen the episode, then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's funny because that's making reference to that. And I feel like that's our version of trying to figure out, okay, what did the morning show talk about this morning? Hippo steaks, leopards, zebras, or whatever, trying to kill honey badgers, and who knows what else is on there.
It's always something with Dave, and he's probably still in here, and he's laughing about whatever he's laughing about as we get into some more Niners with Brandon Aiyuk. Juwan Jennings enters the chat. Juwan Jennings leaves the chat on his Instagram. But a lot of reports coming out. The 49ers rookies, they report to training camp today, but Slick Rick will not be there. He is on the injury list, but it is something that happened outside of the practice facility as far as the Niners are concerned. So he will not be reporting, but Niners, they aren't too concerned with that. So we will get into all that. ESPN.com ranked the top 10 receivers. We have a nice Raiders versus Niners showdown.
Ooh.
And that showdown is that there are reports that the Niners and Davante Adams might have some mutual interest. And with that being said, of course, fans are cooking up trades, and both sides think that the other side is not giving enough. There are Niner fans that think that Davante Adams at the age of 31 is not worth giving up Brandon Aiyuk, and there are Raider fans that think if you're bringing us Brandon Aiyuk, who is not as good as Davante Adams, you're going to have to give us more as well. So we will have some fun with that. Of course, at 11, we get into all things Kings. We discuss the trade market, the update there, and we have more power rankings. And I'll tell you what, Chris, as we discussed and teased on the crosstalk with Carmichael Dave, the Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross show, if Vegas is right, what's next? If Vegas is right and this team is 6 or 7, is this a situation with DeMar DeRozan where, okay, he signed for 3 years? Do we just run it back the next year? This year was about getting acclimated, or do you blow it up? Okay, right. So that's coming up as well. But I wanted to start here, Chris, with the MLB All-Star Game. American League, it feels like they always win.
Sure does.
And they do win last night 5-3. By the way, Team USA is playing again. They're facing Jokic and Serbia. That's going on as well. But getting back into the All-Star Game. So American League wins 5-3. The National League took the lead on a Shohei Ohtani ding-dong Donkey Kong. But Logan Webb, who continued the I guess, ritual of Giants pitchers not doing well at All-Star games, he gave it right back the next inning. and the Jaron Duran went on to take care of business, and the American League All-Star team gets the W. You know, I was thinking about this, Chris, and I know that I'm a big baseball guy, right? But if you hear me out for a second and you go through all the other major, I'm not gonna pretend like I know everything about the NHL All-Star game. But if you take yourself through NFL Pro Bowl,
at least the major ones,
okay, and the NBA All-Star game, I know Major League Baseball has an issue with star power. And yes, they do interviews during the game, and some people don't like that. But
not the shortstops.
Yeah,
please,
right.
Just
well, not the
shortstops.
shortstops. Stick to right field.
Yeah, please.
But when you have somebody like Paul Skeens facing off against Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, mano y mano, you're not going to take anything off your fastball. You're not going to take anything off your swing. Couldn't you argue that baseball may have the best pound for pound all-star product out of the major sports? Not that it makes you want to watch, but it's the most competitive.
Yeah, I think that's the right phrasing for sure, undeniably. Like there's definitely an argument just flat out it has the best all-star week or weekend or experience or whatever, but it's 100% everything you just said. Like, it's definitely the most competitive because of exactly what you just laid out. Like, Aaron Judge is going to try and take that fool out the park. And, it's, Shohei Ohtani hits the home run. Like, I think obviously more people would want it to be more like a glorified home run derby, or, I see some of these Pioneer League scores that you be seeing.
The average ERA is 7, by the way.
5 to 17. Some of those games. So I'm sure some people would enjoy if their all-star game was a bit like that. But no, I mean, I think it is definitely the most pound for pound realistic game simulation too. I think obviously like it gets kind of tough for me with the 1 innings pitch. And with I don't know how many at bats they get, but sometimes it can just be 1 at bat. Sometimes they'll give these guys 2.
I think the starters will get 1, or the starters will get 2. And the
Elliot Ramoses of the world, if they get up, are getting 1. Like I think it's definitely you get. If you care, like you're saying, if you care about baseball, you're going to get what you want out of it. Like you said, if you're here just as a fan of the league in general, you want to see Paul Skeens go against Juan Soto, go against Aaron Judge, and you're going to get that. Like you said, there's no taking off any of it. And I think that's kind of the thing that baseball needs to promote better is, hey, all these other all-star games are literally a joke. And we are still out here. Of course, I think it's probably for the best. If I'm not mistaken, they took out the winner of the all-star game gets home field advantage.
They took that out.
Yeah,
they took that
which
out.
is probably for the best because while it is definitely the most competitive, it shouldn't have those level of stakes to it. But I definitely think it's the best experience. And you get everything you want to see if you really, really care about baseball. And I think that's what they should do at the moment is definitely continue to cater to your hardcore, your P1s, as we would call them. And I looked it up actually. Out of the last 21 All-Star games, how many do you think the AL has won? As you said, they definitely
21.
Have dominated. Yes, of the last 21.
I'd say 14.
17.
Wow.
They are 17-4 in their
That's
last
insane.
21 All-Star games.
And it's funny because you have Shohei who switched. He was American and now he's on the National League. Didn't make a difference.
Didn't make a single difference.
And Mason Miller comes in. He does his thing for the A's.
I think I saw he threw the fastest pitch that's ever been clocked in an All-Star game.
Yeah, he is just ridiculous, man. And we'll see what happens with him if he remains on the A's. But it was really great to see him show out for the Oakland A's and really show, hey, if I am going to be here, there's at least one reason to come out to Sacramento next season. So I think it was good stuff. And you look up and it's really all you could ask for. And that's why I think baseball might just have to settle into number 3. And as far as these major sports are concerned, and just hope that they don't get overtaken because I mean, if you look around the amount of talent that's out there and talent that isn't out there, just the collection. You have Acuna going down and Julio Rodriguez, who has been injured as well. But there's just so much talent, and obviously people sleep on. And they did a great job on Fox with Derek Jeter and Big Papi and A-Rod as usual. But we don't even talk about Bryce Harper.
Never.
is like 31, 32.
Right.
He's still
and was a prodigy as well.
Yes. And we don't even talk about Bryce Harper anymore.
Right.
You have Aaron Judge. These guys are the quote unquote elder statesman.
You have
Soto.
already.
The list goes
In
on
New
and on.
York.
So if you're not going to, and here's the thing, it ain't going to be football,
Right.
and it's not
Never.
going to be basketball.
Right.
So at this point, if you're the commissioner, and we know he's moving out in however many years, you just settle into that number 3 and you just own that number 3.
Yeah.
For every Nike, there's an Adidas, there's a Reebok, and it is what it is. And you just make sure MLS doesn't sneak up on you, NHL doesn't sneak on you.
WNBA even.
We're looking at it as, baseball is dying. Maybe it's not about baseball getting back to where it was. Life changes, right? NFL changed everything.
100%.
And just hold on to that 3 spot.
Yep.
And go from there. Coming up next, we get into a departure that's really going to make a lot of people within the Kings organization sad. But when you're good, growth always comes, as Lindsey Harding will be departing from Stockton/Sacramento and helping out JJ Redick, because Lord knows he's going to need it. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead.
Get your Kings fix all season long right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
If you're looking to move out of your parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renters and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence dyne test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
$12. It's officially summer, and nothing shines brighter than your car when you wash at Quick Quack Car Wash. Now through July 31st, you can get 25% off any single wash during their summertime savings event. Visit your nearest Quick Quack to save today. We will have that special text word at 12 o'clock, 916-339-1140. Then at 1 o'clock, tickets to see Mike Epps. That's all coming up today as we get into a departure. I don't know if Lindsey Harding will be checking out Mike Epps because she'll be in L.A. maybe by this time, Chris, as Lindsey Harding joins J.J. Redick, who, again, is just a collection of people that either were a head coach or are also in that realm of having head coaching experience at some level to help JJ Redick, who has none, Chris.
None.
I know
Not
you
a
were
day.
really, really big on Lindsey Harding, G League Coach of the Year. How are you feeling today, and how should Kings fans be feeling in the Kings organization with this departure? Two tough departures for the Kings now.
For sure, yeah. I'm a bit conflicted for sure. I mean, obviously, like, super happy for Lindsey, get all that all that out, you know, definitely super happy that she gets this advanced opportunity. I would say that going from, even though it's, you know, a head coaching position to an assistant, I would still say it's a bit of an upgrade. I think, you know, clearly when you're down in the G League, you're in the trenches, man. Like, you know, no one's really coming out. I don't want to say no one's coming out to your games, but, you know, you still have to put all the intensity and all the time that is required of a head coach, and you just don't really get the shine for it. I'm glad Lindsey gets the G League Coach of the Year, so you get some shine, but man, I can't imagine how tough that thing is. Obviously, the G League ain't traveling first class or anything like that, so I could imagine that, you know, just from a lifestyle perspective, Lindsay's going to have a great time out in LA. And, with JJ, I think she's definitely going to have a very, very big role over there because of her experience. But yeah, definitely besides all that, I think there's also the fan side of me that's a bit like, did it have to be the Lakers? Really? I know, again, Lindsay is definitely friends with JJ from their time at Duke. And I believe Lindsay had some crossover as a Sixers assistant coach when JJ was out there. But just it going to the Lakers, again, super happy for Lindsay, but it just makes it a little bit sour. Makes it so, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be rooting for Lindsay moving forward because we just can't. Obviously, individually, she's all the success in the world, but right now, she was with the Feds right now. So we can't really have that. I think she's going to do great in that job. And she's clearly incredibly not just qualified, but incredibly capable of handling anything JJ is going to throw at her because she's done it all here already. And that's the thing that I think JJ is really taking from. Not only is she the G League Coach of the Year, but she's been an assistant with Philly, with Luke Walton's staff. She came here to Sacramento with Luke Walton on his staff. And she stayed through him being fired, has continued to be with the staff with Mike Brown. And from what I understand, she has been nothing but incredible this entire time. And definitely gonna hate to see her go to the Lakers, but really happy that she's getting the opportunity. And I know she got an interview for the Charlotte Hornets job earlier this offseason. Wouldn't surprise me if at some point here, especially if JJ does find some success, that she gets another look at some point here.
We talk a lot about paths, right? When it comes to these jobs that aren't your typical nine. And look, we're not immune to that. I think we talk a lot off air about this stuff as well. So when you see somebody like Lindsey Harding, who's been an assistant in the NBA and then been a head coach in the G League, and now she's going back to the NBA,
and she was a baller too.
Yeah, she was a baller.
She was a
baller
monster.
So you look at what she just did, and now to bring it back to the Stockton Kings, who now have an opening.
That's a good point. Would
there be someone from the Kings staff that would it be like you just said, hey, it's an upgrade, even if it's like if you work at a startup, right? And from my tech days, you could be a senior manager at a startup and it says you need X amount of years to be this job, right? Or to be this position. You look at some of these bigger companies and it might only be a manager, but they want more years.
Right.
And you are saying, okay, I'm going to go to the bigger company, even though I'm a director or a senior manager for my little startup, because it's a bigger company. I'm actually getting paid more, even though I'm taking a step down.
Right.
So there's a situation there.
100%.
So now taking it back to the Stockton Kings, who does it look? Would there be anybody from the current Sacramento Kings staff that would quote unquote go down to be a head coach and to get that experience? Or would they get an assistant from the Stockton Kings, or would they look from the outside? How do you see that all playing out?
Yeah, it's a great question. I like weirdly kind of feel like I would have guessed like Doug would have probably taken this last year, and it's weird to say, but I think that he kind of values his time with the big club. Not that the G League squad isn't important, obviously, but I think obviously with Doug's ties with the big club as well, I think that he kind of wants to have that assistant head coach in terms of being right next to Mike where Jordy and Jay sit. I think that's kind of the plan for him. Maybe Luke Laux. I know that's again another tough one because Luke is kind of De'Aaron's, I won't say personal coach, but he's the one who's assigned to work De'Aaron out all summer long. Luke Laux hangs out with Rasay and De'Aaron and works out with them. So I kind of feel like that's, again, a little bit too important to the big club. It could be a couple different people that I could think of. It could be Jawad Williams, who is coaching who coached the B squad for the summer league out at Chase Center. Mm-hmm. That might be a good shout. He kind of said he doesn't have any current plans when he was asked about what his role, what his goal is in coaching. He pretty much was like, honestly, I don't think he meant I don't have aspirations, but he's just like, I don't really have a plan. I know I obviously want to continue to be in basketball. His thing was just, I love Mike Brown. Mike Brown has done so many good things for me. that I think he literally said, I will do anything Mike Brown wants me to do. He didn't ask to be the summer league coach. Mike Brown told him, you're going to be the summer league coach. And he said, okay, I guess so, whatever you want. So it wouldn't surprise me if maybe somebody like him, who again has some basketball, like some real basketball experience, playing on the North Carolina national championship teams out in the early 2000s, wouldn't surprise me if maybe he's the choice. But I wouldn't think that any of the main top guys that I kind of mentioned earlier, I would think that those guys kind of are a little bit too tied in and important to the big club. So it'll probably be a name that we don't really hear often, but I would assume it'd be internal. Yeah.
And it is interesting because you only deal with this with these teams that have, or organizations that have lower levels or developmental levels, right? With the NFL, it could be someone random like Jeff Saturday for a couple games, but most of the time it's a coordinator. It's a very straight up system with the NFL.
Yeah, for sure.
With the NBA and also with Major League Baseball, you look around and how many, I literally tried to look it up and it's very hard to show or to I guess target how many are you a single A manager and then a double A manager and then a no. Most of the time that's not the case. You look around and you got the Aaron Boones of the world who he was dang near the JJ Redick, if you will, because he was in the booth and then now he's manager of the Yankees. And you look at all these other guys that are names that I played on Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball, and all of a sudden they're managers, the Alex Coras of the world and the Mark Kotze's of the world. These are just former players. They're just 100%. Former players. So it's a little bit different, but it is similar because there is no path. So I do think one thing that I've taken from what you've said and the overarching feeling is that there's a level of, and when you watch the games, there's the back row of the coaches and the front row of the coaches. I'm assuming Lindsey's going to be in the front row.
I would assume so.
I would assume so. So basically it seems like to me to round this thing out, if you are in the back row, you would probably be okay with being the head coach of the G League. But you would not leave the front row of the NBA to be the head coach of the G League.
I would think so, unless it's like some sort of coordinated ask of like, hey, we're just going to have you do that. Yeah, more times than not, definitely. Yeah, the front row guys are pretty instrumental to what goes on with the big club. The back row guys, not that they're not as important, but it just they usually, they just kind of have more spread out duties. And so, it wouldn't be as crucial. You wouldn't have to directly replace them in terms of, who they're responsible for.
Coming up next, we take a trip to Santa Clara. 49ers rookies report to training camp. Your boy Ricky Pearsall is on the non-football injury list. What does that mean for one Brandon Aiyuk? ESPN.com ranks the top 10 wide receivers. Where does Brandon Aiyuk fall, and where does Davante Adams fall? As we have a little fun with Raider fans and Niner fans coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It is Wednesday, and we're looking at plenty of sunshine out that window. As we head through the afternoon, temperatures will warm into the mid-90s. That's average for this time of year. Expect lighter winds overnight tonight and temps in the low 60s first thing tomorrow morning. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for special offers right now. I'm Coach Doug Christie urging you to visit my friends at Folsom Lake Kia and save big on your next new or certified pre-owned vehicle right now. Visit FolsomLakeKia.com.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, the A's first pick in this year's draft is Wake Forest first baseman Nick Kurtz. Now, Kurtz, a 6'5" left-handed hitter, has drawn comparisons to Matt Olson and maybe even Hall of Famer Jim Thome. And even though the A's had the fourth pick in the draft, A's scouting director Eric Kubota said that Kurtz was the first pick on their board.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver that includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay to store bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rate supply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
Imagine the most beautiful panoramic setting. Endless waves crashing on a beach. Kids playing in the park. Now, right smack in the middle of your perfect picture, imagine just one piece of litter. It doesn't fit, does it? And it simply doesn't belong anywhere. Certainly not in California. Not even one piece. Good news? If we work together, we will change it all. Clean California. Zero litter is the goal. CleanCA.com.
Did you know about 1/3 of our lives is spent sleeping? Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. If we're going to spend that much time in our bedrooms, then our bedrooms ought to reflect our personalities. I remember many weekend mornings when our kids would jump into our beds trying to coax us to start our days more on their schedules than ours. Naturewood Home Furnishings' huge bedroom sale is here, and there's no better time to find the perfect accent piece for your bedroom, or even better, to start fresh by designing your bedroom to fit your lifestyle. From a new mattress and foundation to dressers to nightstands to lamps and more. Naturewood Home Furnishings will help you create a space from simple to luxurious and anything in between. Just drop by and let Naturewood's team help you envision a bedroom fit for 1/3 of your life. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable bedroom sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water reel.
The wild-eyed Southern boys are back. 38 special. Rock it into the night. Friday, July 19th at 7:30 at the venue at Thunder Valley. With Lou Graham, the original voice of Foreigner. Tickets on sale now. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss 38 Special Live.
Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
The rookies report to training camp today, but Ricky Pearsall will not be there. It's from Matt Barrows. Covers the Niners for The Athletic. Hearing the injury that landed Ricky Pearsall on the non-football injury list is not considered serious. And that was from Matt Barrows. So, yeah, he won't be there. And or was it yesterday they reported?
They started yesterday. Yeah, I think they reported yesterday. I don't know how labor intensive it was, but yeah, they technically the rookies reported yesterday.
So it's not serious, but he's not there.
Right.
Exactly. So we'll see. And the good thing is they can bring him back whenever.
Yes. Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah.
So whether this affects Brandon Aiyuk and his leverage, that word has been used so much. And I think it's used the most in the NFL because players are always looking to find it, and it's really hard to get it. And with the Niners hedging their bet with getting Ricky Pearsall, he would have a little bit more leverage if Ricky isn't able to go. But Chris, you have a list from ESPN.com that kind of broke down the top 10 wide receivers. Nate, did you already see the list?
Nate put me on the list. Actually.
Okay, so we all already saw the list, so we won't try to guess. So reveal it to the good. Fun, though. Reveal it to the good people, Chris.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the same style of list in which they did the top 10 quarterbacks that we've been talking about the past couple days. And by the way, be ready for our top 10 quarterback list starting today. Actually,
that's right.
With number 10. But yeah, here is the list of ESPN. This is from, as they say, execs, coaches, and scouts, ranking the top 10 receivers in the NFL for 2024. At number 1, who could number 1 be? Who is the best receiver in the? It's Justin Jefferson, y'all. Of course, Jay Jettas signs the contract, the biggest non-quarterback contract in NFL history this past offseason. and he is number 1 on this list. Number 2, Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins. Number 3, Jamar Chase of the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 4, the CeeDee Lamb of the Dallas Cowboys. Number 5 is somebody we're going to talk about here in a second, Mr. Davante Adams at number 5 at age 31. At number 6 is A.J. Brown of the Philadelphia Eagles. At number 7, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Detroit. Number 8, Mike Evans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 9, even still, is Stephon Diggs of now the Houston Texans. And I know what everyone's wondering. You're at number 9 right now, and I haven't heard either of the San Francisco 49ers names called. And that stops at number 10, where, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Aiyuk makes his appearance. He gets in terms of, every exec, coach, and scout ranks these guys from 1 to 10. The highest ranking that Brandon Aiyuk received was a 3. The lowest ranking, as you could guess, was not being featured in somebody's top 10. Last year when they did this, he was also unranked. So technically moved from unranked into the top 10. The write-up on him, Aiyuk actually won a tiebreaker with Rams receiver Cooper Kupp, who we talked about yesterday, thanks to his breakout 1,300-yard season in 23. Aiyuk has came a long way from starting his career in Kyle Shanahan's doghouse due to inconsistencies as a rookie. He worked his way into premier status, more downfield production, huge jumps in yards per catch. Quietly has almost 300 career catches, said an NFL exec who voted Aiyuk top 3. He excels as a blocker. Wow. His lower body ability is as good as anyone. Aiyuk, who has 269 career catches through 4 seasons, upped his yards per catch from 14.8 to 17.9 in 23, trailing only George Pickens at 18.1. More than 37% of his receptions went 20 yards or more, which is tops in the NFL with a minimum of 100 targets. In a loaded San Francisco offense, Aiyuk emerged as the top target getter with 218, far ahead of Debo at 181 and George Kittle at 176. An NFL personnel evaluator said he is a premier route runner with open field juice. And again, Brandon Aiyuk, number 10. Some of the honorable mentions, the aforementioned Cooper Kupp, Debo Samuel makes an appearance, still one of the best playmakers in all the NFL, averaging 8.8 yards per reception, leading the field. Durability has been a bit of a concern, but he's the ultimate weapon, an AFC exec said. Also mentioned on the honorable mentions, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, Nico Collins, Amari Cooper, and DJ Moore.
Am I crazy? Or, I mean, maybe he's just better in theory because he's a monster, but no DK Metcalf love?
Also receiving votes, DK Metcalf.
Okay.
Yep. DK Metcalf, Keenan, Terry McLaurin, Calvin Ridley, T. Higgins, Puka, George Pickens.
Well, I mean, they
Chris
receive
Olave.
votes. Everybody received votes.
Well, yeah, I wonder. Yeah, it must have been one single top 10 vote is what I would guess if you don't make the honorable mentions and you're in this also receiving votes category. So, definitely a glaring omission. I would say DK for sure.
You know,
what if he had a good quarterback? Like, I feel like DK would definitely at least be in the honorable mention.
I think the ones that are going to pop up to people, and I've defended this guy because I wanted him on the Raiders, and this was the year, if I'm not mistaken, they went with Henry Ruggs. I love CeeDee Lamb. I love CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
And
dude, he went crazy last year. I feel like nobody talked about it.
Because a lot of people put him in the category, and this is you know what's funny? People do
number 4, by the way.
Number 4. Yeah. And I know some people would think that's high.
Yeah,
but
behind Chase and Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson.
I feel like everything always evens out in life, right? Because
sure, definitely.
Especially when we talk about sports, okay? Because you have Niner fans that hate. They hate when people say Justin Herbert on this Niner team would do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Enter whatever quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, whoever – maybe not, somebody who hasn't had as much success as Brock Purdy, Kirk Cousins, the list goes on and on. But at the same time, I think a lot of Niner fans would say it's the St. Brown and the CeeDee Lamb conversation of usage. Well, if Brandon Aiyuk is number 10 and CeeDee Lamb's usage is XYZ, and you have Amon-Ra St. Brown's usage is XYZ, just think what Brandon Aiyuk would be. And I'm not saying either
Right.
conversations are wrong, but you can't not have one conversation but want to have the other conversation. So I just find that all really fascinating to me. I like Brandon Aiyuk at number 10. Chris, I have it up, and I'm comparing the contracts to this top 10 list. And it all about checks out. I would say that CeeDee Lamb, and I think CeeDee Lamb is a guy who's looking to get paid.
Yeah,
but a
for
couple
sure.
guys on here. I think Mike Evans, I think he was always
That's an interesting
I
one,
think
yeah.
he was always slept on, though.
It's a consistency thing for sure.
Well, I would say that we never have a conversation about Johnny Manziel the way we did if it's not for Mike Evans.
Fact.
I think that's the only guy
100%.
that he threw to at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
So I
100%.
always liked Mike Evans
Yeah.
and thought that he was a little bit underrated, and Stephon Diggs as well. I think those are the three that stick out. CeeDee Lamb because of where he is, Mike Evans and Stephon Diggs. But besides that, I don't really have a problem with the rankings. I just say those would have question marks.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. Like I'm not sure if Diggs is still a top 10. It feels like he's definitely top 15, but top 10 to me, I feel like he's more so in the middle. It just feels like he took a step back last year. I mean, the Bills really weren't too upset about letting him go over to Houston. And Diggs
He's
is
a diva.
He is a big time diva
Yeah.
as well. I mean, still very, very productive. Don't get it twisted. Not trying to be disrespectful, but I just think that, he did have a couple really, really bad games last year. And, I just kind of feel like, again, Buffalo's in a situation where they should want to keep a guy like Stephon Diggs to keep them in the competitive conversation. And I think the fact that they feel like they can continue to be competitive without Diggs there. I also wonder how much of that too is them looking at the Chiefs and what they did with Tyreek Hill and saying, hey, if our quarterback, if we really want to hype up Josh Allen like he is a top 3 quarterback, Patrick Mahomes wasn't really. I mean, clearly the offense has not been the same since Tyreek Hill left, but he's still winning Super Bowls. It hasn't stopped him from being successful. So I wonder if this is kind of a pushing all the chips in on Josh Allen. But yeah, I feel like Cooper Kupp should be in the top 10.
I
man.
think so, too.
I think it's unfortunate he's been injured these past couple of years, but we can't forget this dude won the Triple Crown. Like the receptions, yards, and touchdowns thing is just absolutely absurd. And for anyone who ever had Cooper Kupp in fantasy football, Cooper Kupp's a top 10 receiver.
Would you say that Cooper Kupp, when we did this list and this guy was in the top 10, but I feel like the Cooper Kupp in wide receivers is the Aaron Rodgers of quarterbacks, right? You want to put him there.
Right.
And I know Cooper Kupp did play. I mean, Aaron Rodgers didn't play at all.
Totally.
But for Cooper Kupp to be left off the list and Aaron Rodgers to be 8, I think that if Aaron Rodgers played last season, he'd probably be higher than that. Right. And if Cooper Kupp played more, he would obviously be on the list. So like both of them are a little bit forgotten, even though Aaron Rodgers made the list.
Definitely.
And Cooper Kupp didn't.
Yeah, definitely. And I do think everything you said about Mike Evans is a good shout because it's so easy to forget a guy like him where, besides the Brady years, really, he hasn't been in terms of like success, hasn't been hyper relevant. Of course, I think he has the stat of every single year in his career, he's had over 1,000 yards, which is just absolutely insane. He is one of the most consistent receivers in the league, but I do kind of wonder if I would still have, it's kind of like, okay, his floor is really high, but I don't know if his ceiling is necessarily as high as some of these other guys. Like, I think Cooper Kupp has potential to just put up game-breaking type numbers by the end of the season. I don't know if Mike Evans, and you could definitely argue it's because of quarterback, but I don't know if Mike Evans is still at the point in his career, he's 30 years old now, where I can necessarily see Mike Evans having a 1,500 yard, 15 touchdown season where Cooper Kupp, I mean, we've seen it.
Chris, I know everything isn't even here because it's based on when your contracts come up and things like that. But out of the top 10 that you just read from that ESPN.com list, how many of that top 10 do you think are in the top 10 as far as average annual salary?
In across receivers or across the
receivers
league?
Specifically.
Receivers. Well, I know Jefferson is. I know Hill is. I don't think Jamar Chase has gotten the bag yet. You mentioned CeeDee Lamb hasn't gotten the bag yet. I know Devontae is, so that's 3. AJ Brown is 4. I know Amon-Ra is 5. And I would guess that Stephon Diggs is 6. So I'd say 6 of the 10.
Should have kept Stephon Diggs off of it. 5. Only 5. So you have Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams. Those are the 5. The other 5 that are not on the list, you have
that's crazy.
Jalen Waddle, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Smith, Nico Collins, and DK Metcalf.
Wow. A lot of those guys are on the honorable mentions as well, which is, I don't really know what that says, but I'll tell you, it's not great to be paying somebody top 10. I guess as long as they're in the conversation, it's relatively fine. But that's probably not ideal, especially for that Miami situation where it's like they're paying like their receivers $50 million. I mean, and DJ Moore, what do you think about DJ Moore? He's always been a sticky one for me where I just don't get it. I don't see it. I think he's a fine receiver, but
I've seen him do one play, Chris.
I think he's like, I've seen him take a screen 20 to the house. 30 in terms of receivers in the league. Like I just don't see it. I'm not saying he's bad or anything. I do not see number one with a bullet receiver with DJ Moore.
He was supposed to save Justin Fields, and the one touchdown I saw was a screen that he took to the house.
It was probably 80 yards. And he probably had a second one, and that's all he did. That's all he did. And that's all he ever does.
That's all he did. Coming up next, we're going to open up the phone lines and have some fun when it comes to a conversation we haven't had on the show before, but because of rumors swirling around, it's time to have it. If you're a Niners fan, you trading Brandon Aiyuk for Devontae Adams, some people would say it's obvious. Some people say it isn't, and vice versa. If you're the Raiders, are you doing that deal as well? Is it enough? Both ways. Let's open up the phone lines, 916-339-1140. Text lines open as well, and, of course, the Sack Chat. Who's doing that deal? Who's not? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better, and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what you doing for Chrysler's Make This the Summer sales event?
Well, this month we have something special that only happens once a year. Big savings on one of America's most capable minivans. Right now you can save up to $17,000 off MSRP on all remaining 23 Chrysler Pacifica hybrids, and that's on all trims.
Now, you said Chrysler Pacifica hybrids. Those things get 82 miles per gallon E with gas prices so high and $17,000 off MSRP. That's a no-brainer.
And a deal like this only happens once a year, so this is the time to take advantage of this savings at the dealership and at the pump.
The savings won't last long. Stop by Hoblet Dodge for a test drive today or search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
17,000 total net savings after 7,500 factory rebates and 9,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include 7,500 federal EV tax credit offered by a third party and subject to change. Consult a tax professional for details and eligibility. 82 MPGE combined city highway rating based on fueleconomy.gov EPA rating. Send this net savings while supplies last. See dealer for details.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
By the way, your Sacramento Kings are going to tip off while we're on the air. That's a little bit unique. And I'll tell you this much. We get this on and Drew Timby starts cooking. Chris is not.
I just have to do play-by-play.
Yeah, Chris is going to be having quite the time because I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to see if Kobe Jones can say hot, Chris. They're taking on the New York Knicks, and the New York Knicks traded some picks. They drafted later in the draft, so we'll see. And then they kept going back because when I was at Public House, one of the guys that came to the remote was a Knicks fan. We used to hoop together.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, he's from back east, and he was waiting for the Knicks picks, and they kept moving back, and they kept moving back. So we'll see what the Knicks do against the Sacramento Kings at 12:30, and we won't be doing play-by-play, of course, but we will keep you in the loop on how that is going as we continue the conversation, opening up the phone lines to this Davante Adams Brandon Aiyuk situation. So essentially, to give full disclosure here, there are names that just happen to pop up, right? And this guy who's popped up, and it could be just a random dude. And we're not going to spend time on the actual report. We're just going to spend time on how people are reacting to the report, if that makes sense. There's this guy, Pretty Ricky 213, and he is the People's NFL Insider, and he's getting picked up. You know, the aggregators are getting aggregated to get aggregated.
Crazy.
And basically, he's saying a rumor is the Raiders are a team interested in trading for Brandon Aiyuk. Aiyuk knows Antonio Pierce from ASU, which is true. He goes on to say, here's the fun part. The Raiders would send Davante Adams to the Niners in any trade. Davante has no real money on his deal after this season. So that started the conversation. Like we said, we have no clue who Pretty Ricky's sources are. And really, I just thought we'd have some fun, Chris, with the reactions
for sure.
to it. So that pops up, and basically you have Niner fans saying that the Niners wouldn't do it. Davante is not in his prime. I believe Davante is 31 years old. And you have somebody else saying, no, thank you. Adams complains more than Aiyuk. I think that is in reference to this, because I never heard Davante Adams complain.
I was just about to ask
I
that.
think that's in reference to the receiver show, right?
Okay.
And things like
Sure.
that. Then
because Brandon Aiyuk hasn't complained at all this offseason,
That's
right?
right. He's been quiet as a church
super
mouse.
quiet.
And then you have Raider fans saying, oh, we'll do it for Brandon Aiyuk, but you're still coming off a first, which I also think is a little ridiculous as well. So we're going to get Nate in here as well as we open up the phone lines and open up the conversation. What would a Davante Adams, Brandon Aiyuk trade look like? Would you do it if you're a Niners or Raiders fan? And what would a fair trade be? Because I think there are two extremes.
Right.
Niner fans saying that Davante Adams is washed, and Raider fans saying Davante Adams is so much better than Brandon Aiyuk. We'll take Brandon Aiyuk and a first. Come on now.
That's crazy.
That's cuckoo puffs. That's Cocoa Puffs now.
Yeah.
So I think me personally, I'll kick this off. If I'm the Raiders, I would I think it's fair. I would just do the deal straight up. I mean, I don't think I need to send the Niners anything else besides Davante Adams, because Davante Adams is better than Brandon Aiyuk. He's putting up he was putting up bonkers numbers with Jarrett Stidham and the Niners defense, and everybody knew. I know the secondary was probably their weakest point, but he's doing this against the Niners with Jarrett Stidham, who we have. Is he still on the Broncos? I don't even know where that man is.
I hope not.
So I think I would do it straight up and be done with it and pay Brandon Aiyuk the money. I know if you're the Raiders, how much sense does it make? Because are you rocking with Mustache Minshew? You still need a quarterback, but at least you have more time because Brandon Aiyuk is younger than one Devontae Adams. So I'm doing it, and I'm doing it straight up, and I'll pay Brandon Aiyuk his money, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense for both sides. Absolutely. I 100% agree with everything you said. I think the Raiders side of it, like you take the 5 extra years of Brandon Aiyuk until he gets to age 31. I'll definitely take that. Yeah, I mean, I know it's a little hypocritical of me to say because I say, what is Devontae Adams doing there? And, if Brandon Ayuk's going to be there, I think it's just the
He's going to get the rock.
The time, he's going to get the rock. And let's not forget his friend who posted, I think the reports where it's his brother, but I think it's his close friend, said, bro is going to be a Raider or something like that. Bro is going to Vegas.
That was a second or third TikTok.
Immediately after the Super Bowl.
Right, it was that.
It was the next
day. And then
day.
it was the significant other saying we're about to leave Santa Clara.
Exactly. And so, I think that it makes sense from Aiyuk just from the sense of, he's going to get the rock. He's going to be in a bad situation, but he's going to get his money. He's going to get the ball as much as he wants to. And, he's going to be the piece. He's going to be their franchise piece. There is no talking about Debo. There is no talking about Kittle or Brock or McCaffrey. It is going to be Brandon Aiyuk is the star of this team. And it kind of feels like that's what he wants from out of this offseason. So he would definitely get that. And then, the Niners would get still an elite receiver. And that was kind of the thing I was talking about yesterday is it didn't make sense for me for them to move off of Aiyuk for a pick because they're still trying to win a Super Bowl this year, or at least in this little 1 to 3 year window here, I think moving forward before they have to really consider, all right, let's reshake this thing up. I feel like Devontae Adams is the perfect receiver to do for that. He's also incredibly hungry. The dude hasn't won in a really long time.
Right.
I think he still wants to show he's got something in his locker.
He's from the Bay.
From the Bay. He probably wants to be a Niner where Brandon Aiyuk is out here actively trying to get off of the Niners. I think it makes all the sense in the world. Nate, how you feel?
Yeah, even if Aiyuk or Devontae Adams was a Raider fan, they're not in the Bay. You can still play for the Bay Area team now.
100%.
Not to say that Raider fans are now Niner fans, but real quick, Chris, do we talk enough? And I know he went to high school at Robert McQueen High School in Reno, Nevada. He grew up in Reno, Nevada. But do we talk enough about Brandon Aiyuk being born in Rockland?
No, for sure. He went to AR, I think, too. Yeah, I think he went to American River for a minute.
He did.
Yeah.
And when the report came out yesterday of him, the Patriots being interested, let me tell you something, man. as somebody from the Bay that went back east, and I would have imagined that New England is colder than Philadelphia, you're not trying to be out there. You need to talk about Pittsburgh. Raiders in that dome in Las Vegas,
in the desert,
you can cook out there.
Yeah,
you're not trying
Especially
to go.
Especially he's an ASU boy.
That's what I'm saying. You're warm weather.
Yeah,
you're a warm weather guy.
That's a good point.
And he went to high school, so he would go back to Nevada, his high school state.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You're not trying to go to. You're not trying to go to
those
New
East Coast problems.
I'm telling you, Nate. You doing that deal, Brandon Aiyuk for Devontae Adams, straight up, or do you need something else on either side?
I'm doing it straight up.
Ooh, what are we talking about?
It's that simple.
What are we talking about?
It's that simple.
Super Bowl window. This is probably the last year.
It's that simple to me.
Yeah, it's not even a question.
Yeah.
He's only 31, I think, too.
Yeah.
You know what I look at?
2-3 years out of him for sure.
To bring it back to the Kings, you know how I look at Devontae Adams? I dang near look at him like a DeMar DeRozan.
Sure.
Where you got the rock, you got the usage out of control, but you weren't winning.
Right.
So you come to the Niners where your usage will go down, and maybe that's not a bad thing at 31 years old, but you are in the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
You are actively in the hunt now. So that's what I would say as far as that move. All right, we got Dwayne on the line. We will get to him on the other side. He wants to talk Brandon Aiyuk, Devontae Adams trade. Straight up. It's very simple if we do this. Shout out Pretty Ricky. And then we get him to our Kings talk. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Don't miss limited time doorbusters during Pro Savings Days right now at Lowe's. Starting July 15th for 3 days only, you can save $60 when you buy a DeWalt 12-volt multi-head drill driver. Was $189, now $129. Plus, get 50% off a DeWalt Tough Grip 110-piece screwdriver bit set. Shop these deals and more while supplies last. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Valid 7/15 through 7/17. Selection varies by location.
Summer is finally here, and so are all the best deals on DeWalt power tools at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento. Drills, impacts, circular saws, you name it, we have it for the best price in town, guaranteed. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a seasoned tradesman, we've got all the DeWalt products you need to crush your next project. So come on down to Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet today on Power and Road for better tools and better prices. For more info, visit fastenersinc.net.
Summers are for Sacramento Rivercats baseball. Your Rivercats are home this weekend, which includes the fan favorite Star Wars night on Saturday, July 20th. Bid on limited edition Star Wars jerseys and meet your favorite characters throughout the game. Elevate your experience with the VIP home plate tailgate while tickets last, and stick around postgame for a Star Wars-themed fireworks spectacular. For more details and to purchase tickets, visit rivercats.com.
Big O Tires proudly sells our own brand of innovative, newly designed tires, like the Bigfoot AT2 with improved all-terrain traction, and the Legacy All-Season Plus that keeps you on the road in any weather, with every set backed by our ProTech Plus warranty.
And right now, get $80 to $100 instant savings on 4 select in-stock Big O brand tires with installation purchase. Now through July 28th. Big O Tires, the team you trust. No carry-outs, not valid with other offers. Eligibility may vary. Disposal fees extra and shop fees extra where permitted. See store for details.
The Open Championship celebrates its 152nd anniversary this month at Royal Troon in Scotland. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. The game's top players assemble for a chance at the coveted Claret Jug. The Open Championship is about tradition, excellence, and class. And you'll find similar qualities at Naturewood Home Furnishings as they assemble the finest furniture and brand choices for your selection. When you visit Naturewood, you'll be amazed at the gallery of superior furniture available for your lifestyle, for your decor, for your home. This weekend during Naturewood's bedroom sale, you're sure to find the perfect piece you've been searching for. Naturewood is proud to bring you Open Championship updates on this station and proud to offer you the finest furnishings available. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the Waterman.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system? You were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you're in the market for a new car, shop Folsom Lake Kia. Low interest rates, low payments, and zero down deals with approval of credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign.
Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level. Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sacktown Sports. Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
From the 209, how's it going, guys? It sounds good and great.
Wow.
But you still need someone to throw the ball to all these guys.
Oh.
Purdy is just not the one. Well, I didn't know we were still there.
Better than Gardner Minshew, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I didn't know we were still there, 209. What is it that you need to see from
Right.
Purd Dog? I thought at least you would think that with the Avengers, right? Normally the take is as long as he has the Avengers.
Right, exactly.
209 is saying it doesn't even matter if you have the Avengers, which they didn't win the Super Bowl, and they did have all the Avengers.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people just, last year was my first year of watching the Niners every single week. I feel like a lot of people, if you're not going to watch them, 8 to 10 times in a season, I think you're going to let the narrative prevail on Brock. But like watching him every single week last year, you and I not that we wanted to have bad things to say about Brock, but it would have been easier for us to come on these airwaves if Brock was not spectacular and bag him and do the thing that everybody did. But every single week, we would have to talk about how well he played. And that's the reason why, trust me, I would be the one to not be on the Brock Purdy train.
Right.
And especially after last year, I can't say he's not good enough to have this team win. I think people are reading possibly too much into the Super Bowl. And even then, I don't think the Super Bowl loss is Brock's fault. If we want to go all the way back to that, they turned the ball over or they had the turnover in the first drive. And then Trent Williams with those holding penalties on the second. Greenlaw, Achilles. I think obviously, Brock didn't make – you could say he didn't make the plays when they counted at the end of the game to win the game, but I definitely think that they would have been in a situation to win that game had they taken care of business early, and none of that business was Brock's fault.
Wasn't that on the list of – I can't remember the outlet, but it was list of organizational regrets. And I think it was –
that list.
Yeah, and I think it was more recent, but the one for the Niners was we want the football. During overtime.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
And then all the people that just, the Niners can do no wrong trying to explain it. Just take the L. Sometimes it's just better to take the L. And that's why we like the Niner fans that call in, because most of the time they keeps it real.
Most of the time, yeah.
Let's get to Dwayne, who wants to be a part of the conversation, and it comes in the form of Devontae Adams for Brandon Aiyuk. Dwayne, are you doing it either way?
Hey, what's up, fellas? I think you guys are right on point today. And I appreciate you letting me tap in.
Of course.
Aiyuk is acting like a child, bro. So, he want to be doing weird stuff like rolling up in other cities' gear, jumping on the computer, on his phone. He's wiggling his thumbs like a child, bro. So I would say let's go get Devontae right now. If they can get that done, they should get it done. He'll be the undisputed leader of that receiving corps all of a sudden. An example for Pearsall that Aiyuk's not presenting at all. If you want to go, then let him go and get a Devontae. I'm with that. Now, I'll also say Purdy is never going to win a Super Bowl because the Niners have a problem with the AFC, not just the Chiefs. They can't beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
They can't beat the Bengals. They even lost to the Browns. It's a tougher brand of football in the AFC, so that finesse doesn't get it done the way it gets it done against Detroit and Green Bay. You understand what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
I feel like so I hope I just wanted to jump in you guys' car and ride with you because you guys are on a roll right now. It's all true. But what I say about Purdy is no, he's not a Super Bowl quarterback. He calls the plays in the huddle, man, but them plays come from the sideline, dog. Them plays come from Shanahan.
Yeah.
You run McCaffrey the way you're supposed to. I feel like, he takes you there, but he want to pass. He want to be finesse in the wrong situation. So I feel like that's hurtful. Purdy's arm strength's not there. So at the end of the day, they don't win a Super Bowl, man. So let me know what you guys think, and then have a great day, y'all.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Dwayne.
Dwayne. Great call.
Same to you. We're almost halfway through the week, brother. I'll say this, Chris, and this is one thing I thought about as Dwayne was talking, because we keep bringing up this receiver show. And as far as Debo is the leader of that. Maybe George Kittle, but he's on the receiver, he's the tight end, whatever. Debo is one of those dudes in the locker room. Could you see there being issues if you bring in a Davante Adams? So now it's Debo and Davante Adams. Right. Is there a little alpha battle there? Whereas you have Debo as the top dog and maybe Brandon Aiyuk reminds me of Kyrie, right? Where Brandon Aiyuk wants to be the dude. I don't know if Brandon Aiyuk is ready to be the dude as far as a leader in a locker room. We know Debo is that guy, and people do look up to him in that way. If you bring in Davante Adams, does that mess up the mojo for the Niners? Because it's, oh, well, Debo's been the top dog, but now here's Davante Adams, who is a better receiver than Debo, but he's new to the team. Good problems to have, of course, but that is something to think. It's not a reason if you're the Niners to not do the deal, but there could be a little bit of massaging there.
No, definitely. And I mean, to your point, like if I'm not mistaken, Aiyuk has spent his entire career with Debo too, right? And so he's kind of, Debo is kind of always, I'm sure, thought of him like either they're equals or, like you said, I mean, there might even be a, hey, he kind of looks up to me in a way. If you bring in Davante, it definitely could throw that off. But everything that I've picked up on Davante, the person seems like he's super laid back, not very not ego driven at all, especially for being a receiver. Seems very level headed. I wouldn't think that it would cause an issue, but I mean, you never know. These guys, especially wide receivers, their egos can be so fragile that Davante Adams does kind of start to take some of Debo's role as well. Like Davante. I'm not going to call him a slant boy, but like he is definitely somebody who can be a possession receiver. He can obviously take the defense over the top, and I think he kind of could end up stepping on Debo's toes a little on the field, but off the field, I wouldn't think he's going to be a problem. Just again, it seems like Davante is a really, really nice guy and has a great head on his shoulders, so that wouldn't really be something I would worry about. I guess from Davante's standpoint, again, you can't really guess how Debo's gonna react to that kind of situation. But Debo also seems slightly level-headed. It doesn't necessarily seem like he's been necessarily a locker room problem in the past.
No, and this is what happens when this is why they couldn't find anybody to do the quarterback show, because when you let people in,
honestly,
and it's the same reason Jaylen Brown got in trouble for talking about Bronny, and he didn't even know the camera was on him. Okay, and you couldn't find anybody to do the quarterback show because people don't want you in their business because things can be misconstrued. And Jimmy Garoppolo is catching strays down there in LA. I'm sure he'll be okay. I'm sure he'll be very okay.
I'm sure
but yeah, so I would do the deal. I do think there would be it is 1 year to figure it out. And you have maybe a situation where it's Debo versus Davante and all of that jazz. But yeah, I just think if you're the Niners, you can't say no. If it's straight up, you can't say no to that. And Davante Adams, for the record, and I know somebody, Matthew Henson on the Sack Chat said, didn't Davante Adams camp come out and say they weren't trying to get traded? I'm not. Yes, they did, that wouldn't necessarily mean that he doesn't get traded, though. He wouldn't have necessarily a say in it. So Davante is making that 28, and again, that money, it looks like he would end. The end of that contract is in 2026. So yeah, as far as it being off the books, there'd be some logistical situations there, but at the same time, I just think it's an upgrade, and that's pretty much it. Let's get to TC, 916-339-1140. TC wants to be a part of the conversation. TC, Brandon Aiyuk for Davante Adams. Straight up, you doing it? What you got for us?
Man, that's a hard choice, man. You know what? Because
that's not hard, TC.
It's not. Listen, it's not. I'm most likely I'm making a trade. Only reason I say it's hard, bro, because I'm with Brandon Aiyuk in this situation. I'm not with the Niners, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. I'm not taking that side. I'm taking Brandon Aiyuk, bro. He hasn't forgot about the doghouse. He ain't forgot about how Kyle and John been playing with everybody's money, and then all of a sudden they want to play people. The Lance, we could talk about all the ins and outs of his feelings about the situation. So I'm not giving a discount. If I'm Aiyuk, I'm saying, no, bro, give me my bread. What's owed to me? As far as a trade, I might do that trade. And honestly, is Debo really a leader? I haven't really heard anything about him being a leader like Brandon Aiyuk and all these guys came in. I think he got his mind right on his own. Like, was he a leader to JJ? Was he a leader to I never heard Debo be a leader. I heard him be a diva, like trying to get his money. Like they was even playing with him about his money.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I'm not with Kyle and John on this situation. Like everybody wants to be super Niner, like the super team Niner. Like I'm with the team. I'm not with the team, bro. I'm with the player, bro. Get your money, dog, because they be playing around out there in Santa Clara, dog. Seriously. That's all I got.
No, I hear you, TC. Good stuff as always. Well, I would say this. Would you consider Nick Bosa a leader? Because he held out.
I don't think so.
I don't. Oh, you wouldn't?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not super familiar with the Niners. That's more from a stance of ignorance.
Well, then I guess
that I just don't overtly. I don't see him going out of his. I'm not saying he's not a leader in the locker room.
And now I'm just going through the locker room, right? And I would definitely peg Fred Warner.
I would think so. Yeah. Yep.
Fred
I think
Warner.
Trent for sure. I mean, Trent and Debo lead them out the locker room. Like not to overreact to something like that, but I do think that is a bit symbolic, right?
I think and I think that if you're Debo, maybe it's not, and that's why I had the Kyrie comparison, because who you are now is not who you are each and every year, right? And Debo, I know it feels like it was just yesterday, but you can change a lot, and in the NFL, you got to get your money. So I'm not equating Debo holding out and doing his song and dance to get paid to not being a leader, because you have to do that in the NFL.
I mean, what's Brandon Aiyuk doing?
What's Brandon Aiyuk doing?
That's definitely not leadership.
I would say that at the very least, Debo is extremely liked, extremely well liked. So if he's not the prototypical captain leader, that's fine. Right. But offensively, it's like, okay, I guess we're putting Purdy in that conversation as a leader, and the other person is George Kittle a leader? Really? Is he?
He wouldn't be my leader, I'll tell you that.
You know, I mean, I know
turned off the show.
Maybe it's not. Maybe they don't have a prototypical leader, and maybe it is Trent Williams or that guy, or maybe it's just Purdy now. Maybe it's just Purdy.
The way they talk about Brock Purdy in that huddle, I mean, you would think so, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's been the talk this entire offseason is, man, Brock, of course he looks better throwing the ball or whatever, but his command of the huddle this summer has just been out of control. It's like the only thing that we've heard about Brock this summer. So, he definitely could be stepping up, and, that's probably the mantle he should take, especially if he's going to get paid here pretty soon. I mean, everything is going to go through him, especially, once he gets paid. And like you said, the Avengers kind of have to break up after that a bit. I think maybe it is Brock Purdy here moving forward. And I mean, that's definitely going to be something to follow moving forward. But I think as long as, winning cures all. I think as long as they're in a winning situation, that locker room's going to be fine. And, I think that they all believe in Kyle. Unlike TC, they all believe in Kyle. And I know we got to hit a break here pretty soon, but I'm curious what you think about Dwayne's comment there. I haven't ever thought about it before, but the Niners really did struggle against the AFC last year.
They did.
And and then you throw in the Super Bowl too. I mean, that was a rough season.
The best team
2-3 they were last
It feels like the best team that they beat in the AFC, just off the top of my head, was the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head.
It was just the AFC North, really.
Yeah, because they beat the Steelers and the Jags, and then they lost to the Ravens, Bengals, obviously Chiefs at the end of the year, and Browns.
They lost on that. It was a storm.
Yeah, that was the bad
I'm not gonna make
weather.
excuses.
Brock couldn't throw the ball. His
Yeah.
widow hands got all wet.
Yeah.
I just wonder if they do have. And then to lose in the Super Bowl as well, it is interesting if they have an AFC problem, because I have heard, and I do believe that it is true, the AFC is just a little bit more physical than the NFC, and the Niners definitely do run a little bit more of your finesse, yak kind of style.
Coming up next, we head over to Vegas for some Summer League basketball. We also have another power ranking with the Sacramento Kings and where do they fall. And if all these places are right, and the Kings are middle of the road or fighting for the play-in, what does it mean for next season? What does it mean? Do you blow it up? What do you do? Don't go anywhere. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And here's Purdy going to throw one deep, wide for Debo. Made the catch on the back shoulder. Touchdown! San Francisco!
And a back shoulder banger for Debo Samuel.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool has been put away. Now's the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
$12 o'clock. We will give you a keyword, 916-339-1140, to win a 30-day Quick Quack membership. It's Suns Out, Deals Out. That's right. Quick Quack Car Wash is giving you 25% off any car wash now through July 31st during their Summertime Shine event. Don't miss your chance to save. That's at 12 o'clock. And at 1 o'clock, you know him, you love him, Mike Epps returns to Sacramento for a night of nonstop laughs. And, of course, Sacktown Sports wants you in the building. Hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline at 1 p.m. Chris will pick the number. I picked it yesterday. Hard Rock Live on October 12th, courtesy of Live Nation. For more information, visit sacktownsports.com. Chris, we're about to get into this power ranking for the Sacramento Kings. And I got to tell you, before we get into that, I don't know if I'm feeling old, if there's more gray hair that I'm getting, but I'm really sick. And I know Dave talked about this being the most dead day in sports, but I'm sick and tired. I am sick and I am tired of these basketball scores. Okay. I'm trying to find brawny stats. All right. I'm trying to find, the USA game ended. They beat Serbia. Steph Curry balled out. Right. I'm trying to find, there's no Google, just USA versus Serbia. Chris, first of all, I ended up in a different sport. It was 2-1. Then I thought I found it and it was from 2019. I saw Darren. I'm done, Chris. I can't find the Summer League scores easily. I can't find the Team USA scores easily. It's crazy. Why do they not? Are they hating on Google? What is the problem? Why is it so difficult to find these scores?
I don't know what
it's really annoying me now.
Yeah, the NBA has you can find the daily Summer League scores, but in terms of if you wanted to see, I think you could maybe after 5 minutes of snooping around, you could maybe find a leader, a league leaders of the Summer League, but you can't find individual Summer League stats. I don't know why. I don't know what's harder to find, Summer League or play-in stats. They just, I don't know what it is. The NBA should definitely have it hyper available. And then the Team USA thing, that's always been a problem. I have no idea. You check the FIBA website sometimes, it's not there for the showcase games. It's an absolute mess. Somebody needs to figure it out, though, because it shouldn't be this hard to find stats on a game that everybody across the world is watching. So, yeah, I'm right there with you, and I wish I had a good answer for you, but I really don't know. I know the game was broadcast on Fox, so maybe Fox Sports has it on theirs, but that's honestly.
But this is terrible. And then you go to USA Basketball, and it's got everybody. Yep. It's got FIBA Women's U17.
I was going to say it's probably got the U15.
What are we talking about? USA Basketball Showcase.
Yeah. I'm on Fox Sports right now, which is where the game was broadcast. Can't find it. Nowhere. Not a box score. I don't even see a picture of it on here. So, yeah, I really have no answer for you. But, yeah, it's incredibly frustrating for us.
I'm just not.
I know Steph had 24. That's all I know. That's all I can tell you.
Well, Steph did 6 3-pointers, okay, and some Warrior fans are joking because he was on a heater and Steve Kerr took him out, which happens a lot when he plays for the Warriors. How does it feel, Chris? How is your pride when you see Steph balling out for Team USA? What does that do to you?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's better than Tyrese doing it, I guess. But is that
your list?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
I think so.
No, that's real.
Sporting news is where I can find the box.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. That's real hate, Chris.
Sure is. Yeah.
You have Tyrese over Wardell for your hate list is nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting there. It's getting there for sure. It's more just like, I don't know. It feels like Steph is just undeniably this generational player. Like, I've lost that battle already. I can still fight the Halliburton fight, I think that's more what it is. It's like, Steph, that's long gone. It could be my thing to be the hater, but still, like, acknowledge things. Tyrese, there's still so much there's still so much meat on that bone, I got that. So I'm gonna ride that wave as long as I can. But I mean, it does, it's. Yeah, with Steph especially, I think I just can't feel anymore. Like, that dude is going crazy.
Was it Game 7 that did it to you?
No, you know what it honestly was? The day that I knew, like, this is no longer a fight worth fighting is the OKC shot. Like, it was
a while ago.
It was a while ago where I had to admit, like, all right, this is not a battle that this is now going to have to be more of a joke than it is me seriously trying to combat this.
Well, what's funny is, if I'm not mistaken, that's the year they blew the 3-1.
It sure was.
So you had time. You had an opportunity.
Oh, you better believe that was the summer of my life.
They got KD.
And then they got KD, and everything kind of became immediate. Well, it was already unfun for me, but immediately it became like, all right, what are we doing here?
So I've done this exercise before, obviously, when I was in the Bay, but I want to ask from an outsider perspective and from a hater perspective. So we've asked the question, when I was in the Bay, would you trade the 2 KD rings to win that 3-1 year and have the best record of all time and basically be the best team of all time? And I think a lot of Warrior fans said, yes, they would trade it in. From a hater perspective, would you have rather the Warriors win? Let's say they win the 3-1 and that's the one they get.
Yeah.
After they're the best team ever, they were so close to blowing it. They win Game 7. And after that, everybody catches up to them. And maybe they still get 2022. Who cares?
Yeah.
But they don't get they get 1 instead of 2 with KD. But that 1 would be able to say that they were the best team of all time. Or would you keep it as is and we get to make fun of your only blown 3-1 lead, but you got KD?
That's a tough one, because the narrative, if they never won a championship with KD, would be crazy.
Well, they never get KD in this.
They never
this
get
universe
KD
because they won. KD wouldn't have went there if they won.
So he says.
Yeah.
So he says.
Yeah.
I feel like I really enjoy how it is now, though, where they can't claim anything. It's like you can't say that the 73 win team is the best of all time because you didn't get the ring. And I don't even think you could say it's the best Warrior team of all time, because yes, success-wise, numerically, 73 wins, but you're telling me you wouldn't rather have the KD team than your best team of all time? And that's kind of pokes a hole in that. So right now, I mean, they have the championships, obviously, but I don't think anyone's out. People do say that that's the greatest squad put together, but they just don't have the results. I don't know.
They don't have the record.
You know what? I would just give it to them. I would just give them the 3-1, and then KD never comes.
Really?
Yeah, I think I would, because
so now Steph has 3 rings, but one of those rings was, by the numbers, the best team of all time.
Yeah, I think I can live with that. I think I can live with that being his legacy over having as many rings. Or does he have? He has as many as Braun now.
As many as Braun.
Yeah, I feel like it feels more right if Steph is close to Braun, but not quite there, because I still think that Warrior fans will hold on to that 4 versus 4 titles, and they'll say, "Oh, but how can you make the argument?" Especially when Steph has a better record in finals against LeBron. It's. So yeah, I would like to take that argument.
It's if LeBron has 4 and Steph has 3, that kind of kills the whose era was it conversation.
Exactly.
Which now LeBron's era was longer.
It was,
but it's definitely been segmented.
A Steph era.
Yes,
1,000%. And even I can't deny it. I think because the thing is they already did. They just didn't put the cherry on top of that season. Like, they already went crazy. It was kind of of course, internally for me, it's great to hold on to. It's great to, say, y'all blew a 3-1 lead. So you can't even talk about that entire season. The entire season is null and void because, yes, you did something incredibly impressive, but on the other end, you also did something equally as impressive on the bad side.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, from a hater standpoint, I'll take what I can get anyway, and I'll use it as fuel. But yeah, I think ultimately, if it means KD never joined the Warriors, because that brought real anger. Like again, at that point, it was what are we doing? Like this is insane. Is this what the future of the league
But
is
as a
just going to be?
basketball fan, wasn't it beautiful to watch?
I mean, they cooked. Don't get it wrong. There was nights where you would turn on the Warriors, and you watch a 5-minute stint where, wait, this was just an 8-point game, and now it's 25, and the game is over. And I feel like Steph and KD just hit 5 straight threes. And people are out here throwing their hands, dancing on the floor in the middle. Like they definitely were a vibe for sure. But no, I mean, even from a basketball standpoint, no, I would have much rather seen a competitive 3 years than just essentially giving the Warriors the title.
And even with all that, they needed Zaza to take out Kawhi.
They sure did. Yeah, not enough people.
And they needed Chris Paul's hamstring to fall off just to get it done.
27 straight missed threes.
And 27 straight missed threes. Coming up next, we have a power ranking that Kings fans may not be happy about. And if it is true, what would the Kings do in 2 seasons? Not next season, but the season after next season, if what everyone is saying is true. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It is Wednesday. We're looking at plenty of sunshine out that window. As we head through the afternoon, temperatures will warm into the mid-90s. That's average for this time of year. Expect lighter winds overnight tonight and temps in the low 60s first thing tomorrow morning. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you're in the market for a new car, shop Folsom Lake Kia. Low interest rates, low payments, and 0 down deals with approval of credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
Ah, the sweet feelings of summer. The kiss of warm sun on your skin. The softly scented breeze blowing through the trees. Don't worry, you have Off Clean Feel, fragrance-free mosquito repellent that feels good on skin, so even mosquitoes can't ruin those sweet feelings of summer. Off Clean Feel. Prevention is the best protection from mosquitoes.
If you're looking to move out of your parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Summers are for Sacramento Rivercats baseball. Your Rivercats are home this weekend, which includes the fan favorite Star Wars night on Saturday, July 20th. Bid on limited edition Star Wars jerseys and meet your favorite characters throughout the game. Elevate your experience with the VIP home plate tailgate while tickets last, and stick around postgame for a Star Wars-themed fireworks spectacular. For more details and to purchase tickets, visit rivercats.com.
Sponsored by Xfinity Internet. Enjoy ultimate control of your home network. Personalize your Wi-Fi name and password. Assign user profiles. View and control connected devices and more with the Xfinity Internet app.
I would end the day with sore feet, sore legs. The drugstore inserts that I was purchasing were really not very useful at all. I walked into the Good Feet store and the guy kind of grinned at me and said, I hear that a lot. I was living with chronic pain before going to the Good Feet store. Now I don't really have that problem. I'm able to do the things that I expect to be able to do, even at my advanced age. I feel pretty good about what's going on.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Carmichael Dave here for Capital Casino. Sacramento Summertime Heat is back. And, of course, Cap Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, wants to invite everyone to soak up some air conditioning, still with the most variety of table games in the region. And, as always, the best food, best service, and the best action, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Capital Casino, of course, reminding everyone to please make sure you gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
The outlets continue. At least they're keeping the same energy, Chris, but they continue to not be that high on the Kings even after the move, which is interesting when you look at the landscape and Monty McNair sitting down with our own Jason Ross saying that this is the core these outlets can be wrong, right? These outlets can be wrong, but you are seeing basically not the vibe of a PJ Carlissimo who was calling a game and Monty McNair sat down with them and said it was a perfect fit. And we had Tim Legler, who is now a friend because he was very high on the move. But ESPN.com, not so much, Chris, as they still have the Kings in that number 15 spot.
Yes.
Which is right where Vegas kind of has the Kings at 45.5 wins. And basically everybody, Chris, is it crazy to you that essentially everybody is saying that DeMar DeRozan and Harrison Barnes are the same? This is
it's getting crazy.
This is nuts.
It's getting crazy. Somehow the Kings haven't gotten better at all, and apparently everybody else around them has just gotten leaps and bounds better.
Yeah.
So much so that it doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it's crazy to me. Let's just go through it leading up to 15, and then we can go a little bit behind 15 as well, just to get a gauge on where they kind of have the Kings slotted. Number 1, of course, this is all in the thought of it is a post free agency power ranking, where they take obviously all the moves that have been made this offseason and try and factor it in.
And is it weird that they're doing it now?
I think so. I definitely thought that as well.
This should be at part 1.
It's not even over yet.
Right.
Like, things could still happen. I guess maybe this is them trying to see that maybe they know what Dave knows, and this is just a dead period, and they're like, we need something. Number 1, Boston Celtics, no shock there. No major departures, only one notable addition, and that was their draft pick. OKC at number 2. Number 3, Minnesota, which puts and try and mentally, I'll recap it at the end, but mentally try and keep track of how many Western Conference teams here they have in front of the Kings. So again, Boston 1, OKC 2, Minnesota 3. You got the New York Knicks at number 4. You got the Dallas Mavericks at number 5. Of course, the addition of Klay Thompson. They seem to think that definitely puts Dallas up in the top 5. Number 6, they have the Philadelphia 76ers. Number 7, they have Denver. Number 8, Milwaukee. Number 9, Indiana. And as we say Milwaukee as well, I should mention, just literally got a tweet notification from Shams saying that Bucks star Chris Middleton has undergone arthroscopic surgeries on both of his ankles this offseason. So definitely not a great sign for the Bucks, as they already are pretty injured and are honestly kind of skew towards the older side with some of their non-Giannis players. Definitely not great when one of your key stars has surgeries on both of his ankles in an offseason. Number 9, Indiana. Number 10, Cleveland. Number 11, Orlando. Number 12, Phoenix. Number 13, making a massive leap, the Memphis Grizzlies, all the way up at number 13, only adding Zach Edey this offseason, but not losing anybody. New Orleans Pelicans sit at 14. And yes, Alan, like you said, the Sacramento Kings are sitting right in the middle of the league, 15 out of 30 in the NBA. Number 16, Golden State. Number 17, LA Lakers. Number 18, LA Clippers. 19, Heat. 20, Rockets. 21, Spurs. That's kind of rough. I'll kick it off. And in the Kings write-up, they say, is the signing of DeMar DeRozan enough to propel the Kings in the West? DeRozan joining the Kings is one of the biggest free agency signings in Sacramento franchise history. Despite having to give up Harrison Barnes and Chris Duarte, especially on the offensive end, DeRozan's offensive prowess, especially his mid-range game, should fit nicely alongside Sabonis, Fox, and Monk, who signed a 4-year extension this offseason. However, DeRozan's defensive limitations won't help in an area which the Kings are desperate to improve, and that was a write-up from Kendra Andrews.
Now everybody cares about defense.
All of a sudden.
Now everybody cares about defense. You know, as a team, Chris, and Deron Holmes, had unfortunately joins the Achilles crew.
That's right.
You know who is a team that I think is gonna and I've kind of been on this.
Yep.
I think the Denver Nuggets are.
They definitely could. Definitely.
They're going to be in a tough spot.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the Denver Nuggets are too high. I think The Mavericks, you got to give them respect. That's fine. I think the Knicks are a little bit too high for me. Can't really argue about the Thunder and the T-Wolves.
Yeah.
The Sixers, fine.
Sixers.
You know, you get PG. The Bucks,
who knows?
Like you just said, 2 ankles, right? He's doing the Sasha Vezenkov impression. So I think the Bucks are maybe a little high. Pacers, trying to give them Pacers and the Cavs, I think is fine. We'll put them there.
I think the Kings are better than both of those teams.
I think the Magic, we're hoping to have a bigger free agency. I don't, not to disrespect Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and they got your guy Tristan Da Silva, but I think the Magic, it's going to be more about their internal growth than what they did outside. The Suns are just getting the benefit of the doubt for having that quote unquote big 3 who never play together. The Grizzlies, I have been on the camp of not sleeping on the Grizzlies, so I'm not going to deviate there. And the Pelicans are fine. Look, the Kings, they should definitely be, I think, in that 12, between 10 and 15, but 15 feels too low.
Right, they're on the back end.
I don't know if they should be number 10, but I'm looking at 11 and 12 thinking, all right. And again, that gets me to that 5 seed, 4 seed conversation. You're at 15 in the West. You're looking at playing again.
Yeah, no, and I mean, you said it with Phoenix, but how much about this is just narrative too, where it's like Cleveland, okay, I think everyone feels positive about Cleveland and the direction they're going. They obviously get a new coach and they re-up on Donovan Mitchell and they don't trade anybody. People feel good. Orlando's kind of the fun, exciting young team that it's like, yeah, of course, we're going to have good feelings about them. Phoenix, you're going to put them above Sacramento, exactly what you said, because of their big 3. They have Kevin Durant. They get Mike Budenholzer, who's just perennially amazing in the regular season and can't get it done in the postseason, except for that one time. And then the Grizzlies, I think that's, again, like you said, everybody is like, the Grizzlies, don't sleep on them. They're going to be better than they were last year. Don't forget about them. And I think that it's just, it bakes into the narrative of, I don't know how many people are excited about the Kings coming off of last season if you don't have to be. Of course, here in Sacramento, we're going to pay tons of attention. We understand, hey, last year was last year it didn't have to go the way that it did. If guys shoot better, which I'm sure a lot of people can say about their teams, but if guys shoot to their normal percentages, feels like the Kings have a much less disappointing season. And the addition of DeMar DeRozan, I don't know. To me, it definitely feels
Where would you put him?
I'd probably put him in that 13 spot. I think I'm okay with them being behind Phoenix because of the talent acquisition, or I'm sorry, the talent that they have in the acquisition of Mike Budenholzer. But I think that it's just kind of crazy to have them below Memphis. I know that, Memphis obviously was the 2 seed the year that the Kings were the 3 seed, but I think that they've lost Steven Adams and, yes, they add Zach Edey, but that team did a lot of losing last year. I know they played tough, but I just kind of feel like I got to see it with them before I fully believe that they just are better than everybody else and had a down year like that. And I know they played a crazy amount of lineups, but it just feels a little bit early. And I get you can't have the Kings in front of the Pelicans. There's no way.
No, you can't. You can't. I think the Grizzlies are getting a little bit, and I was high on the Grizzlies, but essentially what they're saying is, Chris, is that if you look at the matchups, they're saying that Ja Morant's better than De'Aaron Fox. I don't know how you're not saying that.
Yeah, no, that's what they're saying, 100%.
After a season of not playing.
I'm taking Sabonis over Jaren Jackson, their second best player.
Yes.
I'm taking DeRozan over Desmond Bane, who's their third best player.
Yes.
So to your point, I mean, unless they're
going to say
Keegan
Murray, who is
and Malik Monk.
Yeah, and Malik Monk. That's actually crazy.
I mean, they're saying that Ja is significantly better, and that's where, I mean, I guess we'll get an answer 100% if the Memphis Grizzlies are ahead of the Kings, then maybe that is a sign towards that. But I mean, I just fully believe that De'Aaron is just a bit better than Ja, especially just more well-rounded. And again, for those keeping track at home, the Kings are 8th in the Western Conference according to the NBA Power Rankings on ESPN.
Let's get to Sam. 916-339-1140. If you want to be part of the conversation, Sam wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Sam? What you got for us?
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, good. Hey, listen, I can show you how we can get to 50, but looking at the players, I think Keegan Murray, number one, he's probably going to get a little bit better this year. And this is barring any injury. So you have to factor he's getting better because he's young. De'Aaron Fox, is he going to stay the same or is he going to go down? Sabonis, is he going to have an off year or is he going to stay the same? So I think that everybody is underestimated. By the way, I must disclose that I am taking a bet on the 45.5 over. So I think at the end of the day, the Kings are probably easily 12. I think they're going to surprise.
Yeah.
And I love our 5, 6, 7 people. And every one of those people that I mentioned, we have a chance to grow where other teams don't probably only have 2 or 3 players that have a chance to grow up this year. So I think the Kings easily can reach 50.
Yeah, I think so too, Sam. Thanks for the call. As always, I'm looking here, Chris, and the Grizzlies thing, and I'm high on the Grizzlies. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Luke Kennard is still a free agent, or he's floating around, or maybe he went back to the Grizzlies. But you have Santi Aldama, okay, Desmond Bane, Brandon Clark. You add Zach Edey. I do think G.G. Jackson is going to be nasty.
Yeah, for sure.
And
he's looked good in summer league.
He's 25 or. Yeah, he's 19 years old.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know he was the youngest player in last draft.
He's 19 years old. You got Conchar. You have Jake LaRavia.
Oh,
you have Marcus Smart, and obviously John Morant. I'm just taking the Kings over that.
100%. And I think that
Zaire Williams, another
100%.
young guy.
Yep, never can stay healthy either. Yeah, I mean, I think that's just a narrative thing. And again, it's the fun, sexy team to pick. Like everyone thinks that the Grizzlies, hey, don't forget about the Grizzlies. You know, you can't just look at the standings of last year and forget about the Grizzlies. It's just crazy.
They're overcorrecting.
Yes, 100%.
Right. Or they're just being disrespectful to Sacramento.
That too. It's easy to hate on the Kings.
Right. Coming up next, we have the conversation. What if they're right? What if ESPN's right? What if Bleacher Report is right? What if Vegas is right? And they finish with 45, 46 wins, and they're back battling to stay out of the play-in. They finish a 6 seed, 7 seed. Let's say they get in, they get outed in the first round. What happens next? Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Kevin Herter plays here.
It's Herter. He's been hot. He fires. He's still hot. Kevin Herter from downtown has a 15-point first quarter.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through September 15th, purchase high-quality GAF with Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of those spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LT Turbo Max. In stock after rebates. Always 5 to choose from.
Exclusive. All in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. M73124.
Catch some Aggie football this fall and save money while doing it. Grab one of our all-new mini plans and save up to 40% off single-game tickets. With our can't-miss home slate of games this season, you can pick 82 games for just $60 or any 3 games for $75. Pick the games that fit your schedule and come support the Aggies on their quest for a Big Sky championship. Mini plans can be purchased by calling the ticket office at 530-752-2471 or online at ucdavisaggies.com/tickets. Go Axe!
Celebrate Sacramento Rivercats baseball during our 25th anniversary season and join the fun at Sutter Health Park. For a full promotion schedule and to buy tickets, visit rivercats.com. We'll see you there.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's time to have that conversation. And the 925 is basically taking us there anyway, Chris. If I'm not wrong, they say we finished 17th last year. All I keep hearing from you guys is last year could be an anomaly because of bad shooting and injuries. But having rooted for this team for 25 years, I'm more thinking the year before last might be the anomaly. Let's play well a couple years in a row before we complain about moving up 2 spots in the rankings. And we can do the game, 925. And let's say they do finish with 45, 46 wins. The Kings finish 7th in the West. They actually get out of the play-in this time, and they lose in the first round. Now you have a De'Aaron Fox who's going into that would definitely mean that he didn't get all NBA. So he's not getting the Supermax, but he is up for an extension. And he would be going into his 9th year in the NBA. You have Sabonis now, another year into his contract. You have Malik Monk, who would be in the 2nd year of his contract. You have Keegan Murray, who his extension would be looming and would now be, 24, turning 25, something like that. So you have DeMar DeRozan, who would then be in his 2nd year of a 3-year deal. And you are still fighting in the play-in. So you got rid of Harrison Barnes. You still have Kevin Huerter. You still have these guys. Devin Carter would have had a decent year. He didn't play half the year or a third of the year. And you're still in that play-in. You basically have not evolved. You have not improved. Going into that next season, Chris, would we be in blow-up territory? And what would that look like?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because everybody is saying that the Kings are going to be the same,
right?
Essentially. So let's say that's true.
Yeah, let's say
that's true.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do going into the next season?
Right. And assuming they didn't make another move, right? Like there was
right now.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would definitely assume that some things will definitely have to be looked at. And I think that's probably where we start to. I think the first thing that happens is we really start to ramp up the Keegan Murray conversation of, okay, well, if we're not quite good enough, and assuming that they're pretty much the same record wise, I'll just make the assumption that Keegan didn't take a massive leap forward either. I think maybe you really start to have to consider, okay, if this guy didn't take the leap that we needed or expected him to take, maybe we should look to cash in on this chip right here and see what we can get. Even if it's not the caliber of player that we would have gotten this offseason, maybe, as we've talked plenty about, Keegan could potentially get you Lauri Markkanen this offseason. Right. Maybe next offseason, Keegan's value is a little less. He's a little bit closer to his next deal. People have a better picture of what he is and what he maybe could be. And maybe instead of Lauri Markkanen, we're talking about, I don't know, Jeremy Grants or something like that of the world, where it's just a step below. And, I think that's probably the next natural step, is because I think the point is also with that, they're going to try and win now. I mean, if they're not feeling like they're on an upward trajectory, I think that it's going to be, okay, well, we, especially, Monty McNair and, Mike Brown just signed his extension this past offseason, but he's, his next deal is going to be right around the corner as well. De'Aaron Fox, his extension will be up or will be available to re-up on next offseason. I think you have to really start to go a lot more win now, for sure. Yeah. I don't think I would consider it blowing it up.
Sure.
But that would definitely come probably the next season after that, or maybe even in the middle of the next season if it doesn't go well following that. So I would guess that first and foremost on the agenda would be, let's have a conversation about Keegan Murray, because that's our best trade piece. And clearly, if we are the same as what we were last year, then clearly it's that development's not going quite how we want it to.
Yeah, I'm looking here at Sabonis's contract. To that point, everybody is in the middle of it, right? And assuming that they extend De'Aaron Fox and he accepts, he would be just starting a new one. So you have really that core outside of Keegan Murray. You have Sabonis in the middle.
Yep.
You have DeMar DeRozan in the middle.
Yep.
You have Malik Monk in the middle. And then you would most likely extend De'Aaron Fox. So it wouldn't be blow up, but I think you're right. I think Keegan Murray, regardless of the season, he has, if he balls out and let's say there was injury to De'Aaron Fox, whatever it is, whoever, you'd have to move him. Yeah. I think that's the first thing you look at, and you just look to get,
maybe Malik too.
Or somebody.
I think it's the step before the blow up is maybe, I guess, where I've arrived.
The last ditch effort.
Yeah, you're not going to touch the big three now with DeRozan in there. You're not going to touch Fox, DeRozan, or Sabonis yet, but the Malik Monk and Keegan Murray pieces are probably the ones you look at.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is what all the prognosticators are saying. They're saying that right now they're in the same spot. And we just heard from Monty McNair yesterday with Jason Ross saying this is our core. Now, is he just being smart and not showing his cards? Yes, it's quite possible that he's doing that. It's also quite possible that when you see now, and we'll get into the trade market a little bit later in the show in the next hour, the trade market is now saying Jeremy Grant is worth 2 firsts, right? So now we're seeing what we saw last time, or the trade deadline, as okay, now these price tags are starting to creep up a bit, because these lower echelon teams in the West that are trying to make a move and get to the higher ground and the higher tier, they're not desperate, but they're the step before desperate. So now what's going to happen? Supply and demand. So if Monty says, I still don't want to pay those prices, we go into camp like this, and now you're looking at a team who, let's say everybody is right outside of Sacramento, they end with 46 wins. They get past the first round. Here's the question, Chris, when you talk about how growth isn't linear. Yeah. That's all fine and good. You lost in the first round 2 years ago. You were a 3 seed. You took a step back for whatever reason. We know the reasons. Back to the 9 seed. You didn't get into the playoffs. So now what do we do if the Kings get back to a 6 or 7 seed and lose in the first round? How good should you feel about that?
I don't think I can say that right now. I think you have to go through it. And I think, everything isn't created equal. It depends, hey, did the Kings look like they had a shot in the playoffs, or did they just get swept? Did they, how did the season go? Were there injuries? Like, I just don't think you can fully with 100% certainty say how you would feel about it. But I mean, I think ultimately it would probably be disappointment if you're a 6 or 7 seed. Should it be is maybe a different question, but I do think if I know the Kings fan base like I think I do, I think it would be, what do we do? Well, now we've only been in the first round or a play-in exit these past 3 years. What do we talk? Much like the texters tone, honestly, it's like, what are we talking about? Why, I keep hearing that, second round and, this team is ready to start getting it. Well, we haven't made it out of the first round. So I think that kind of starts, I think you start to really get some skepticism where, it feels like, of course, year one, tons of positive momentum. Last year, okay, like some disappointment. I definitely think some people hop off the train a bit. And if you continue down that road, I just kind of think you start to slowly lose people more and more and more. And people are going to start asking questions. Sacramento, well, we talk about market size and, it's definitely not a small market, or not a massive market, but it is still pretty close, pretty tight knit. I do think if the Kings have another bad year and a year after that, that's not great. This town talks. And I definitely think you start to really internally feel the pressure because, Monty said it in his exit interview. He felt that he could feel from the fan base that the play-in wasn't acceptable enough. I think, you would definitely start to hear it if we can't get out of the first round. And this is the grand offseason that Monty, I guess, didn't promise, but people were expecting.
Look, we joke about they're nothing like us, but don't let Vivek fool you. He does not want to lose.
No.
And we have some texts that we're going to get to. We have a call that we're going to get to from Casey right on the other side. Because here's the deal, Chris. And I know we sit there and we defend Domantas Sabonis against the Kevin O'Connors of the world.
Sure.
But you're about to pay him $40 million.
Yep.
After that, you're going to pay him $43 million.
Yep.
After that, you're going to pay him $46 million.
Ooh.
And the last year of his contract, when he's 31 years old, 2027, 2028, you're paying Domantas Sabonis $49.9 million. So everything should be on the table. It's just a matter of when. Casey, we'll get to you on the other side, and we will get to this really good text that we want to break down as well. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, tell me what's happening for Chrysler's Make This the summer sales event.
Everywhere you go, things are getting more expensive. But at Hoblet, we're working to save you as much as we can, which is why right now you can save up to $15,500 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn or Laramie Hemi 4x4s. And we figured why not include no payments for 90 days.
You guys are going all out this month, aren't you?
From the time my grandfather opened the first Hoblet dealership back in 1949, one thing we've strived for is to treat you like family. That's why you'll find the big city selection and savings with over 400 Rams available, but the small town care and attention when you buy from Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
15,500 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 1500s after 8,500 factory rebates and 7,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include 2,000 Chrysler Capita bonus cash. Must finance with Chrysler Capita qualify. And 500 first responder cash for current members of eligible First Responder Association. At least 5 of this net savings, sample VIN 190060. See dealer for details.
18 number ones.
What was I thinking?
Countless ACM and CMA awards. Sold out world tours. And now, Dierks Bentley is coming to Sacramento for Country in the Park 2. September 28th at Hard Health Park at Cal Expo with Parmalee, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Plus line dancing, food trucks, and more. Tickets available now at CITBfest.com.
Brought to you by McKee Brothers, Clemmy Reuter and Inc. and Dawson Oil Company.
There is a different vibe at night at the Hagen Oaks Range powered by Top Tracer. It's more relaxed with golfers and newbies side by side enjoying the technology used on televised golf tournaments. Play a variety of fun games. Play Pebble Beach. Compete against friends at the Hagen Oaks Driving Range. Or treat yourself to 9 holes on the Mackenzie putting course. Hungry? The Hangout Food Truck offers burgers, chicken strips, and more. And don't forget to check the summer-long free concert schedule at the Hagen Oaks Driving Range, Fulton Avenue and Cap City Freeway.
If you've been on the American River, it's uphill, it's downhill. There's trails everywhere that you can walk, and it just makes you happy. And I couldn't walk, and it was terrible. I was turning into a real crab. I went to the Good Feet store, and I tried on the arch supports. I could not believe that I was not in pain. I can walk, I can run, I can jump, I can do anything. My name's Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
The wild-eyed Southern boys are back. 38 special. Rock it into the night. Friday, July 19th at 7:30 at the venue at Thunder Valley. With Lou Graham, the original voice of Foreigner. Tickets on sale now. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss 38 Special Live.
Keep your family cool and comfortable this summer with Bell Brothers' best summer ever financing event. When you replace your AC system, we're offering 0 payments, 0 interest for 6 months on approved credit, then low fixed rate thereafter. That's right, 0 payments, 0 interest for 6 months on any new AC system. It's an incredible offer on an incredible new AC system. but only for a limited time. This offer is also available on any plumbing, water heater, or insulation projects over $1,000. So call Bell Brothers now. Your family will thank you because they'll be cool and comfortable. But you have to hurry. Our offer for 0 payment, 0 interest for 6 months, then low fixed rate thereafter ends soon. Estimates and second opinions are free. So call now to keep your family cool and comfortable during Bell Brothers' Best Summer Ever event. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com. That's theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Set Down Sports.
For Mike Epps tickets, they went very fast yesterday, in part because I had caller number 2 on the line, but that is at 1 o'clock. So if you're listening on the app, probably want to switch over around 12:40, 12:50. And right now, we are doing our Quick Quack membership contest, okay? It's Suns Out, Deals Out. That's right. Quick Quack Car Wash is giving you 25% off any car wash now through July 31st during their Summertime Shine event. Don't miss your chance to save. Text keyword cowbell.
Ooh.
COWBELL, no space, to 916-339-1140 to enter to win a 30-day Quick Quack membership. We will see you come through the text line right now. And speaking of 916-339-1140, let's get to Casey. Wants to be part of the conversation. Casey, you think 50 wins for the Kings? Are they selling a short in Vegas?
I think at least 48, but I could see 50. Here's my thing with Monty, and you guys mentioned whether or not they were willing to, if there was a Lauri Markkanen a deal out there that could be done, and if they weren't willing to give up Keegan. In my opinion, Monty's at a point where if we go to where what Vegas is saying and we win 45-46, to me, even though he signed an extension, his job could be on the line. So to me, I don't understand why GMs hold on to these 29, 31, and 33 picks like that they're gold, because most times if you're trading those picks in 2024, that GM's not going to be around to suffer the consequences of that.
Right.
So if I could give up Keegan Murray and 3 first-round picks and get Lauri Markkanen right now, and that's going to make us a contender, I would do that all day, every day, because in my opinion, we're second round, at least second round, or Monty's probably going to be gone. I could be wrong, but with the team that we have, and making this move, we should improve. Our bench is pretty weak, but like I said, Monty shouldn't be worried about those late picks in 29 to 33, because even if he does good, there's a good chance he might not be around, because GMs don't just last 10 years in the league that often.
Yeah.
So, I mean, holding on to those picks and holding on to Keegan. Keegan's our biggest chip, but, I mean, honestly, his progression was not very much. He played 4 more minutes, so the increase in points and a little bit of other stats weren't really that big of a progression. It was more minutes played, but the biggest degression was his 3-point shooting percentage. And so that, to me, is the most important thing that we need him for, is his 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I would be willing to trade Keegan and first-round picks to get Markkanen, because, to me, that makes us a contender. Right now, I don't think we're a contender, but I think we could win 48 to 50 games.
Yeah, no, thanks for the call, Casey. That was great stuff. Look, Casey makes some good points, and I feel like you've spoken on this before, Chris, as far as GMs and really them being more hasty to trade picks because, you know, let's go to the Magic Johnson meme. I'm not going to be here. As far as Keegan Murray is concerned, yeah, I do think it's an interesting thought process. I'll put it to you like this. Based on what the reports have been for the Jazz and what they've wanted from the Warriors, I don't even think what Casey said of Keegan Murray and 3 picks, that's not enough. And I think Casey would say, well, then keep going. I don't care. Screw them picks. And I get all that. I am torn on what Casey is saying, because if you are Monty McNair, you do want to win now. And I would say, there was a little spiciness, and we saw Vivek's spicy side with the Mike Brown situation and how it did get out in the open, and how, okay, we thought it would be obvious that Mike Brown would get extended, and Vivek said, nah, man, I mean, we just want to let you know you're not on the hot seat, but you're not far from it. And I would think Vivek would think the same way when it comes to Monty McNair. You got to be careful, because you could find yourself in a worse situation. The grass isn't always greener. So it is a delicate situation, but I feel where Casey is coming from. You can't be ridiculous with it, right? Because you're not going to assume, well, I'm going to get fired soon anyway, so why wouldn't I do this? But I do think if there was a marketing deal out, and to keep this in a more simple aspect, you have the report from Anthony Slater and I believe Sam Amick from a couple weeks ago, where Keegan was part of the conversation, and they did not want to give up Keegan. Mm-hmm. So because of that, they went in the direction of DeMar DeRozan. So that's already out in the open. Right. They already said, we ain't giving up Keegan. Yep. And Danny Ainge said, okay, well, then I'm hanging up. Yeah. So would you then have that conversation again after getting DeMar DeRozan? I don't know, but I do think it's worth the conversation if as far as Casey's concerned.
Yeah, I get what Casey's saying, and it's just, I mean, it's funny because he's definitely not wrong. I mean, if you're a GM, what do you care about them picks for? Like you said, I mean, if you trade the picks and it works out, you're a genius, and you don't need those picks because you already did all the hard stuff. But if it doesn't work out, then yeah, you're probably not going to be there anyway to live through the terribleness of not having those picks and probably down years. The problem, Casey, is we are still going to be here as fans. We're still going to be here, and I know Monty can't care like a fan.
But you're a contender, though.
Possibly, or it doesn't work, and you trade all those picks, and you end up just because you trade the look at the Brooklyn Nets in those previous situations. Just because you trade the picks doesn't necessarily mean you're going to end up in the spot you think you are. Look at the Clippers, even. There's so many examples of these teams that have just shipped off everything, and yeah, maybe a couple of them work, but there's also a couple of them that don't work.
Yeah,
and I think it's just dangerous if you're a Kings team that we just had a texter say the other last segment. Hey, why do we just assume that we're on the up right now? We're the Kings. We've been bad for 25 years. Mm-hmm. I still think that should apply when you think about your draft picks too. Like if you're another team, like right now, San Antonio with that 2030 pick that they just picked up. That's gold. Yeah. You can't a future Sacramento Kings first round pick, regardless of how good they've been these past 2 years. I think every GM is willing to take that bet, especially 5, 6, 7 years down the road, where De'Aaron Fox is going to be in his 30s and Sabonis is going to be in his mid 30s. DeRozan probably won't even be on the team at that point. He'll be 40 years old in 5 years. So I think that it's. Yeah, like in theory, it's nice to say, yeah, just throw away the picks. Who cares? You're Monty McNair. But I do think that there is some internal pressure of, okay, like we're willing to compete, but let's not be crazy here and ship off our entire future, because the worst thing that the Kings could do is return back to where they were again, where they were previously. And, a lot of fans stuck around through those 16 years of the playoff drought. I don't know how many will stick through another 16-year playoff drought.
Yeah, and you can't assume. It's really about the pressure that Monty McNair is possibly getting from above him.
Yes, and exactly.
We might see more if we see Keegan get moved or somebody like that. Okay, great that point. Means that whoever,
he got the green light.
He got the green light. Hey, we need to go now. From the 916, I think they're having some fun with this. Trade 3 second-round picks for Kuzma. Okay. That is a
second-round pick.
Yeah, no, sure, I love that's why I love fans, because, of course, who's going to say no to that?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't the Wizards take 3 second-round picks for Kuzma? 916-339-1140. Let's get to Will. Wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Will? What you got for us?
Yeah, hey guys. I happened to get in the car for lunch right when that guy came on, and I got to tell you, this is why they're fans and not GMs. A couple different things, if I could have a couple minutes. Okay, first of all, Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen is fool's goat. Lauri Markkanen averages 68 games a year, has had full seasons he's missed. He plays no defense. He was an all-star 1 year when his team was hosting. They won 39 games with him as the primary player. This guy is not that good a player. We have 2 all-NBA caliber players here. He is not an all-NBA player. The fact is that Keegan may become that. He has a two-way game to be that kind of a guy. Lauri Markkanen is a one-trick pony, and he's not a guy I would put the eggs in the basket of saying that makes us a contender versus the Boston Celtics. Mm-hmm. And on that note, the last 2 teams that won the championship, the Celtics and the Nuggets, built their teams through draft and smart and patient trading and careful growth of the teams that took a number of years to get to that point. Each of those teams took 5 to 7 years to grow into a true championship caliber team. It doesn't happen overnight. We were going from literally 16 years of no playoffs to we've had 2 years where we're starting to come up and doing pretty good and have a nice solid core. Be patient and don't give away picks for nothing. That's crazy. And don't ever trade with Danny Ainge.
Yes.
That's all I got, guys.
No, great stuff, Will.
Could have led with that one, Will, to be honest.
Great stuff, Will. Yeah, I think that's a good counter to Casey from earlier. Both great points on both sides. Really, Chris, this comes down to how much do you value Keegan Murray?
100%.
And we had this conversation. We had Katie Christensen on, who does a great job for the broadcast with the Sacramento Kings for NBC Sports. And Katie thinks Keegan Murray is going to be an all-star.
Right.
Will thinks that Keegan Murray could be all-NBA. There are, I think, a lot of people that would say Lauri Markkanen's ceiling is higher than Keegan Murray. But if you even think it's close and you got to give up picks, then you're not doing that deal.
That's how I mean, yeah, I just think that it's too much. And I'm not even super, like, I don't think Keegan is necessarily a shoe-in to be an all-star. I think he maybe could be, but I think that's going to be a tougher task than people think. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a risk proposition where it's like, you know, how much are you willing to bet that Keegan Murray is going to be somewhere near the kind of impact of Lauri Markkanen? And I do think, you know, the caller made some good points for sure that Lauri is definitely elevated his stats when he went to the Jazz. Like, he was on that Bulls team a couple years ago, and that's kind of where he had his real emergence. It was his last couple of years. I'm sorry, in Cleveland, not with the Bulls. He got drafted by the Bulls, was really rough with the Bulls, and then went to Cleveland and kind of popped off a bit. But even then, he was like a 14, 15-point-a-game scorer, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't until he went to Utah, where they really didn't have any other options, that he really started to cook and look like an all-NBA player. I guess maybe the point is Lauri actually, you know, and the caller calls him fool's gold, like, is maybe Lauri Markkanen a little bit juiced right now because of the fact he's on a really bad team.
Definitely.
And I feel like people are just saying Lauri Markkanen is the 25 point per game scorer. Again, when he was in Cleveland, 30 minutes per game, 15 points. He goes over to Utah, 34 minutes, 25 points. This past season, 23 points per game, 33 minutes.
Here's the difference, right? And the report was that Warriors wanted to do a deal that was focused around or centered around Moody and picks.
Right.
And Danny Ainge and the Jazz said, we want Kuminga, we want Podziemski, we want Moody, and we want picks, right? And now they're in this stalemate. The difference between the Warriors and the Kings are not in desperation mode, or they shouldn't be. The Warriors are in desperation mode. They're trying to figure out, okay, we want to give Steph the best possibility to win before the sun sets on his career, but we also don't want to be sold up the river, right? And Danny Ainge knows that. The Kings should not be in that position from the point of, hey, we do have 16 years of nothing, okay? We had a really good season 2 seasons ago. We had a lot of injuries. If internally and to bring it back around for the opposite of the conversation we just had, if you don't, and even what Casey had to say, if you think that they're a 48 to 50 win team and they're all in the middle of their contract, why do that deal unless Casey also felt like Markkanen was the guy that could take you over the top? But you're giving up Keegan Murray, and we see it on the text line. You already dealt with that with Tyrese Halliburton. If you think Keegan's that guy, now you got 2 guys floating around that are centerpieces for their team. I think Tyrese Halliburton's ceiling is maybe a little bit higher than Keegan Murray just because of his playmaking and things like that. Now you have 2 of those guys floating around. you better be sure that it works out with Markkanen or fans are going to lose it.
Yeah, no, and just a real quick point, too. I think it's important to note that Tyrese Halliburton was traded so that they didn't have to throw in draft picks. It's kind of crazy to me that you would throw in Keegan and then also talk about throwing in draft picks.
That's nuts.
Tyrese was literally to supplement having to throw in two, like Sabonis probably could have been gotten for 2 first-round picks and Buddy Hield or something like that. But they said, we would much rather keep our picks, possibly use those as leverage in the future, and just give you Tyrese in a more one-for-one deal. And if you're trading Keegan and like 4 or 5 first-round picks, that is just way too much value to give up for a guy that I'm just not convinced that Lauri Markkanen is truly this godsend savior that everybody is making him out to be. Yes, he's a very good player, and he does fit a lot of the holes that the Kings have, but I don't know if he's necessarily the caliber of player that I would rely on to take this team to a championship level.
Let's take a trip around the trade market carousel as there are new reports on what's going to happen with Zach LaVine. A team emerges that makes a lot of sense if you're desperate. We'll tell you who it is when we return. Don't go anywhere. Stiles and Watkins, Sackdown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
From the 916, I think a lot of people probably feel this way. If this team trades another young player like they did with Halliburton, they should just give up. Maybe trade Sabonis, ... That would make way more sense. Well, if you're trading Sabonis, I think you talk about going in a different direction offensively with getting DeMar DeRozan. You trade Sabonis, and maybe are we putting too much on it? I mean, their quote unquote identity, the Kings of the DHO and things like that. Yeah. Sabonis isn't the only player that can do the DHO. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But if you're moving in that direction, is that you're not blowing it up from a roster standpoint, but you're restarting. Okay, now unless you find a Walmart version or a generic version of Sabonis, which I don't even know who that would be.
Who are you trading Sabonis for also? We're starting to get to this territory, right?
Yes.
Where it's like, okay, hey, the Kings need to get this wing, right? And what do you always say? Well, can we get some names here? Are you talking about Jeremy Grant? Are you talking about Kyle Kuzma? If we're talking about trading Domantas Sabonis and we're talking about this team staying at this level or getting better, who are we trading Sabonis for? Because most of the time, I don't know if anyone's noticed or not, these superstars are getting traded for picks, and that's not helping the Kings anytime soon.
No. Not at all. Some interesting notes here, Chris, as we go around the trade carousel. I thought this made a lot of sense if you are Steve Ballmer. And I wouldn't say that he's desperate, but I do think they want something.
Oh, for sure.
To excite the people.
PG's
right now,
done
you
that
have
too,
Derek Jones Jr. and some other names that they've added. This came out from Joe Cowley, who does a lot for the Bulls. People around the league are not ruling out the Clippers as a potential landing spot for Zach LaVine.
Okay.
You're Steve Ballmer. We're opening up the Intuit Dome.
Not concerned about dollars either.
Not concerned
Steve
about dollars.
Ballmer is not concerned about
this is a guy. I'll go into the second apron. I'll take the
I'll
whole
go into
kitchen.
a third apron.
No,
I don't
care. So now you'd have Zach LaVine to pair up with. That's your other star piece.
Sure.
Right. And both of them, you're just praying that they stay. You're
You
getting a
can't
first
do
round
that.
pick.
You can't have Zach LaVine
No,
and
you
Kawhi
can't.
Leonard.
But I mean, maybe I'm thinking, Chris.
Every day, it's just like
it makes sense. Hey, after this, we do it to open up
crazy.
the Intuit Dome, and if it doesn't work, we're blowing this bad boy up anyway. That's how I'm feeling. If I'm the Clippers, front office.
Yeah, I think the problem
I would think about, and you're getting a pick for Zach LaVine.
Yeah, it's just you have. I mean, how are you blowing it up? Is the question. How do you do it? Because if you aren't successful, Zach LaVine's contract, you were the only one who was willing to take on that.
You're stuck with the contract. Kawhi,
2 more years.
Some people think Kawhi should retire. Kawhi's probably done soon.
He might. Definitely might.
That's what I would say.
And then you got James Harden. I mean, in terms of talent, it's definitely a risk that, a desperate team like the Clippers or like the Warriors are probably going to take at some point here. It's just risky. And, with the second apron, seriously, though, like it makes it really tough to move off of him. You can't unload any salary. Not that you would be doing that after if you do trade off of LaVine, because no one's going to be shipping you off $50 million back. But yeah, it just becomes really, really tough. And I think if anyone's going to be willing to do it, it's going to be Steve Ballmer.
Do it.
I think that, everything you listed,
James Harden,
it's all the motivation that they need is really just, they lose Paul George. They're trying to open the Intuit Dome, and they still have Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. So they might as well, instead of being a 4 to a 6 seed or something, might as well go for broke trying to be a 2 seed. So it makes sense to me.
I would do it. They added Kevin Porter Jr., who people have feelings about that, of course. Derek Jones Jr., Nicholas Batum. Obviously, they have James Harden, who re-signed, Cam Christie, Mo Bamba, Kai. This is the land of misfit toys. Yeah. Kai Jones in there as well.
Mo Bamba.
Yeah. So I would do it.
Might as well get Josh Primo over there while you're at it.
Call me crazy, but I would do it if I'm the Clippers, because why not? Where, I don't care.
Kawhi not.
Kawhi not. I would do it if I was the Clippers. All right, Chris, continuing to go around the trade carousel. This was an interesting one. You have Darius Garland now saying, there are reports that he's saying he never wanted to leave. That was made up. And he wants to stay in Cleveland.
Wow.
So
I don't think anyone's ever said that. Yeah.
After all that, Donovan Mitchell stays. It's either him or me. And Donovan Mitchell resigned, and Darius Garland said, what I meant to say was we. I meant to say we together. So Darius Garland seems to be, or this is just a PR fix, seems to be staying in Cleveland. There was also a report, Chris, that the Nuggets thought about trading Michael Porter Jr. along with, I think it would take more, for Paul George.
That would have been interesting, because that kind of keeps the Nuggets from, being in the conversation that you kind of brought up, where it's like, they might be the next natural team to just kind of fall off, especially with them losing KCP. They really didn't make any significant acquisitions. And then, you mentioned Deron Holmes getting hurt too. That's a move that, can kind of keep their window open for the next couple of years. I think Michael Porter Jr. obviously is a little bit more of a bet, crazy enough with his injury history, but I think Michael Porter Jr. is, hey, if we keep him instead of cashing in for Paul George, Michael Porter Jr. can maybe give us 10 more years, where Paul George can maybe give us 3 to 5, maybe. So, it kind of lengthens your championship window instead of trying to maximize this one. But, I would probably say, while the window's open, you should probably try and jump through it. And I probably would have done that if I were Denver.
Talking about assets that teams have, well, the issue with the Lakers is nobody seems to want their assets. We discussed the Lakers' connection with Jeremy Grant and their lack of moves when we return. We also get into some summer league as the Kings tip off against the New York Knickerbockers. Stiles and Watkins, Sacramento Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system? You were a bit surprised at how much it cost, or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for special offers right now. I'm Coach Doug Christie urging you to visit my friends at Folsom Lake Kia and save big on your next new or certified pre-owned vehicle right now. Visit FolsomLakeKia.com.
The Open Championship celebrates its 152nd anniversary this month at Royal Troon in Scotland. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. The game's top players assemble for a chance at the coveted Claret Jug. The Open Championship is about tradition, excellence, and class. And you'll find similar qualities at Naturewood Home Furnishings as they assemble the finest furniture and brand choices for your selection. When you visit Naturewood, you'll be amazed at the gallery of superior furniture available for your lifestyle, for your decor, for your home. This weekend during Naturewood's bedroom sale, you're sure to find the perfect piece you've been searching for. Naturewood is proud to bring you Open Championship updates on this station and proud to offer you the finest furnishings available. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the Waterman.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
18 number ones. What was I thinking? Countless ACM and CMA awards. Sold out world tours. And now Dierks Bentley is coming to Sacramento for Country in the Park 2. September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Parmalee. I love you just the way Kelsey Hart and more, plus line dancing, food trucks, and more. Tickets available now at CITBFest.com.
Brought to you by McKee Brothers, Plenty Rooter and Heat, and Dawson Oil Company.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
30 minutes, your chance to go see Mike Epps. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake hotline at 1 p.m. at Hard Rock Live on October 12th, courtesy of Live Nation. You know him, you love him, Mike Epps. That's going to be on October 12th. I might just be in the building there.
I was going to ask.
That's fine. What's your you do comedy shows?
Yeah, I really am not I don't go to as many as I feel like I would actually like to, I think. Mm-hmm. My sister goes to a good bit of them. There's actually some really good comedy spots out here in Sac. People usually make their rounds, and it's actually not that hard to find some of your favorite comedians out here. So No, that's a long way of saying no. I really don't go to many, but the ones that I do go to, I always have a great time. And, comedy specials were kind of my intro to Netflix in a way. Like that was the first thing that I really started binging heavy on Netflix. I would just go on and turn on the stand-ups, and you can always find a good stand-up on Netflix.
Yeah, there's always different specials popping up. Yeah, my big story with the stand-ups is we went to Chris Rock for my birthday a couple years ago in Oakland. I think he was at the Fox in Oakland.
Really?
And
I would have guessed the big one.
Yeah, I think it was. Don't quote me on that. And who pops up out of nowhere?
This was pre-slap, right?
That's a great question.
Yes.
Okay, because he went nuts. I mean, like, he didn't go nuts, but just it would have been at the biggest venue possible.
Right.
Yes. And then as we're just sitting there, who comes up to do, I guess, a impromptu set is Dave Chappelle.
I knew you were going to say that.
Dave Chappelle just showed up and everybody didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool getting to see
That's insane.
two of the greatest comedians ever.
Yeah.
Just in one sitting. So
do you have a guy that you're like you're underrated comedy guy? Like just
I don't. I think I'm more in the camp of you. I think I could check out more comedy than I do. And now, you go on the social media and everyone's got clips. And there's almost too many.
I think
there's almost too many specials. Everybody's got a special.
Yeah, it's too much too to where it's probably one of your favorite topics. It's like these influencers that then become. It's like King Batch is and it's like, well,
and now he's really want to see All-Star game. It should have been me.
It's like these. There's a difference between stand-up comedy and then these like little vines and shorts and things like that. And to your point, not to sound like get off your lawn or anything, but it does feel like these people who just can be funny in moments want to take it further and try and make an actual career in comedy. And I just think that there's, I just have an appreciation for the art of comedy.
You can't edit on stage either.
Too.
That editing will make
and the energy's different too, right? Like these guys are all super,
right.
You can't keep that up for an hour.
It's not real.
But it's a lot of these things now, how you can, I guess, reverse engineer your talents. Right. And, we talk about Next Level Chef with Gordon Ramsay, and this time he had real chefs or chefs that's their job.
2 of this,
yes,
already?
And this season they did chefs that he's got a lot of shows.
I can't believe
chefs
it.
that actually do it for their job, and then they have social media chefs.
Oh gosh,
and off the top of my head, I'll look it up. I can't remember who won, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a quote unquote real chef. I'm pretty sure it was social media chef. I'm pretty sure, but you have that situation, like you said. Then you have the comedian situation, and all these people that
even actors. I mean, comedians,
even actors. It's just a different world out here. So speaking of acting in Tinseltown and Hollywood, Chris, there are reports here. This is from the Dunk Central. The Blazers want 2 first-round picks from the Lakers in exchange for Jeremy Grant. The Blazers are reportedly looking for the 2 first-round picks in exchange for Jeremy Grant, according to Sean Hyken. And the Lakers are interested in a lot of people right now. And it says Jeremy Grant can play. He is a shooter. He is a good active defender when he is engaged. He is going to do a lot of things that can help your team, one exec told Heavy Sports, but he is a third option. He has some big numbers the last few years, but he has done it on terrible teams. No one is going to make a big trade for a guy who gives you 20 points on a bad team and 13 points on a good one. Not with this contract. He's going to make $30 million next year, 32 the year after that. Then he has 2 more years. You can't pay your third option 34 to 35 million. If Portland wants the Lakers, the Miami Heat, any of these teams to take him, they've got to recognize that. Well, right now, they haven't recognized that. And they want 2 picks, and that's just the going rate, and we'll see if it moves or not. This is the issue, Chris, and if you're wondering why the Lakers haven't made a move, this is from Jovan Buha, who covers friend of the show, who covers the Lakers for The Athletic. D'Angelo Russell and Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, they have somewhere between neutral to negative trade value across. Stop disrespecting my boy Rui, okay?
Neutral's hilarious.
Across the league, there are certain teams that have interest in maybe one of those guys, but there are very few teams, if any, that have interest in multiple of those guys. And that's ultimately been why the Lakers have not been able to find a deal.
Interesting. Huh. I mean, I could see that, I guess, where it's like, hey, we're with the Kings package of Kevin Huerter and Harrison Barnes, we kind of went through that a little bit, but at least there was more of, look, even if, hey, the Bucks, they need a guy like Harrison Barnes who's just kind of a forward who can do it all, come off the bench, but is Kevin Huerter a bit redundant for them, or however you feel? It could honestly be the opposite as well, where it's like, hey, they need spacing, but do they really need a guy like Harrison Barnes? But at least those guys are like, you can find a place for them.
Yes.
And if you have to play Harrison Barnes, and you're not super excited about getting him, there's worse things you can do. But I could definitely understand how it's like, okay, I will take Rui Hachimura, but I'm not going to take Rui and D'Lo and Gabe Vincent, who's coming up. Like, I can't
Instead
just
of
take,
picks.
again, fantasy football trades. That's what I like to say. And that's what the Lakers are clearly trying to do here. From the Kings perspective, I honestly don't even know if they can make this move anymore, because I don't know if they can reach $30 million in salary, because they can't trade Malik yet because he just signs his deal. Keegan is still on his rookie deal, so I would assume he makes anywhere from $7 to $9 million this year.
Honestly,
Kevin's we know Kevin would probably almost guaranteed have to be thrown in there. That's 15, 16 million in there. You got to reach 30. I just don't think the Kings can even make that move. But Jeremy Grant, I think what was written about him in that article is really the fear for me, is just, Jeremy Grant's a really good player, but it's honestly just kind of what we talked about with Lauri Markkanen, if not even more so, because at least Lauri Markkanen has scoring chops. And I think Jeremy Grant is, in an ideal world, primarily a defender first. And then, yes, his offense is definitely the cherry on top for him. Yeah, that would be my fear, is you're paying this guy $30 million. And then when he gets to Sacramento, especially if he's going to be here with DeMar DeRozan, how many shots can this guy take? I mean, he's not really an elite scorer. We're talking about, like the writer said, about 13 to 15 points per game for a guy you're paying $30 million.
So here's the deal. It did work, at least on Fanspo, because they have, it doesn't have to match perfectly. I think they might have trade
exceptions too. The Kings might.
Because it doesn't have to work perfectly, but this is what I cooked up. You get Jeremy Grant, but the Kings get Jeremy Grant for Kevin Huerter and Trey Lyles. And if you're the Blazers, are you doing that deal? You probably want to pick. And here we come back to the same conversation of a pick, Trey Lyles and Kevin Huerter feels like too much. But
and
if
that
you
also
take away
might
the
put you
pick,
into the second apron as well, or into a apron.
If you take away the pick, the Blazers probably say, no, thank you.
Right. Yeah. It's just kind of the, so I think it's just a no touch. I think that, that might be something that you can explore in the middle of the season if he is still on the Blazers, but I just wouldn't feel the emergency to do it now. And I just feel like that value, like you said, it feels like it's a bit imperfect. Maybe you can get a 3-team deal done and have it even out a little bit more, but I don't know what the rush would be to get a guy like Jeremy Grant in here. Not that he's not a good player at all, but just, I think that that's something that you can maybe wait on and see if you do truly need to make that move first before you go all in. Because at that point, again, you trade for Jeremy Grant. I don't know if there's a pivot off of that. At that point, you're kind of locked into your squad. Moving forward, I think that there is going to be some value in the Kings playing some games here, seeing what their weaknesses are, and then making a move after. Like the caller said earlier, there is a bit of patience that needs to be had right now, because you can end up jumping the gun and then setting yourself back further than you ever would have thought.
Right. And not to fast forward through this season, because we think it's going to be a great season, but let's say they don't make a move and they do end up in that 6 to 8 range again, then we have the conversation. Okay, if Jeremy Grant's still available, now you might be more willing to go, I'm putting all my chips in, and kind of taking this gamble, but don't think you have to do it yet. As we have tipped off from 2K25 Summer League, I was telling Chris, it very much annoys me that it's the 25th anniversary of NBA 2K.
No, it's just because they do it the year they have the game come out, like the number is the year beforehand. So the 2K25 comes out in 2024.
Why? I mean, I guess it's the 2025
It's
season.
going to end in 25.
Sure. So I get it, but it's a little bit.
It's very
confusing to me as the Kings. Chris, you made a move. Was there a good
Drew
play?
Timmy hit a 3. He had a top of the key.
I told you, my guy Drew.
Yeah. He's
Stop
got
playing with him.
He's going to look great in Stockton next year. I can't wait.
Yeah.
He's going to look great.
Yeah.
He's going to look
And
great.
when it's, let's just see how that looks. Let's just see how it looks in Sacramento.
So you really are thinking they're going to be a 6 to 8 seed.
Well,
if you're trying to put Drew Timme in here,
they do need it. Well, and that's the other thing. We haven't had the conversation. I think we did last week, but not this week. They do still need another center.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
I'm not saying it needs to be Drew Timme, but you need somebody.
He just took a great shot. Oh, they called it a block. Yeah, no, definitely. I think that he could, go to camp, be in the Kings training camp and fight for that third spot. I think that's probably about where I think he is right now, is where he should be competing for a roster spot. But I think at the end of the day, most of his time is going to be spent in the G League. But yeah, I mean, I definitely can see him being a productive practice player for sure. And especially right now, I think he definitely brings a skill set that the Kings would love to have kind of in reserve. And I part of it is a bit of a bit. I do think that he has some flashes that do intrigue me, but I just ultimately think that, yeah, I mean, we're talking about a guy who at best is maybe playing 30 to 50 games and
can he burn minutes, right? Or is he a net
exactly
negative?
And that's the thing, is I feel like at the end of the day, you're going to lose a lot of his minutes trying to make it work. And when he's featured like he is on a summer league situation, yeah, he can look good. But what happens when he gets 2 touches offensively and really most of his work needs to be done on the rebounding front, or, as a playmaker, as a rim protector, things like that? To me, yes, his offensive game is really enticing, but I don't think there's anything there defensively. And, I don't think his offense is good enough to forget about that side of the ball. Like, Sabonis, frankly, I think Sabonis's offense, what he brings on that end is so good. You're willing to overlook some of the defensive things. And even then, people bring up those defensive problems quite a bit. I think Drew Timme is just that tenfold.
We take a trip to the Summer League. When we return, updates on some of the top picks as Alex Sarr does his best Tony Snell impression. Also, Matas Buzelis and Bronny James stats as he continues to get hated on. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
They're going to give it. No, it's a play action. Purdy going to roll left, throw for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. He has the hat trick tonight, a career high. 3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Summer is finally here, and so are all the best deals on DeWalt power tools at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento. Drills, impacts, circular saws, you name it, we have it for the best price in town, guaranteed. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a seasoned tradesman, we've got all the DeWalt products you need to crush your next project. So come on down to Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet today on Power and Road for better tools and better prices. For more info, visit fastenersinc.net.
Grab the keys to a new Toyota. This summer, answer the call to adventure in California with Toyota's legendary reliability. Shop a wide selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs, including more hybrids than any other brand. Don't miss a low lease on the 2024 Corolla, RAV4 Hybrid, Highlander, Tacoma, and even the new all-hybrid 2025 Camry. It's time to make this summer one to remember. Toyota, let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premium rated credit in 7/31/24.
Imagine the most beautiful panoramic setting, endless waves crashing on a beach, kids playing in the park. Now, right smack in the middle of your perfect picture, imagine just one piece of litter. It doesn't fit, does it? And it simply doesn't belong anywhere, certainly not in California, not even one piece. Good news, if we work together, we will change it all. Clean California, 0 litter is the goal. CleanCA.com.
The wild-eyed Southern boys are back. 38 special. Rock it into the night. Friday, July 19th at 7:30 at the venue at Thunder Valley. With Lou Graham, the original voice of Foreigner. Tickets on sale now. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss 38 Special Live.
What's up? Talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. What's happening for Chrysler's Make This These summer sales events?
Right now, save up to $12,000 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 2500 Laramie or Tradesman. For work or for play, you pick. If you need a heavy-duty Ram truck, Hoblet should be your first stop to find what you need at the best price.
Oh, you're going all out this month.
From the time my grandfather opened the first Hoblet dealership back in 1949, one thing we've strived for is to treat you like family. That's why you'll find the big city selection and savings with over 400 Rams available, but the small town care and attention when you buy from Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram.
You won't find a bigger selection or better deals on the truck you want. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
12,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 2500 and 3500s. After 2,000 Hoblet Select inventory bonus cash. Lambries include 9,500 dealer discount and 500 first responder bonus cash for current members of qualifying First Responder Association. Tradesmen include 7,000 dealer discounts and 5,000 factory rebates. Rebates include 1,500 commercial bonus cash for current business owners with valid tax ID. At least 5 of each offer. Sample VIN 1033767 and 221741. See dealer for details.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
If you are a fan of Mike Epps and happen to be listening on the Sacktown Sports app, you might want to switch on over with a chance at those free tickets to AM 916-339-1140. 15 minutes, we will be giving those tickets away. Chris will pick the number today.
Can I ask you guys for some advice real quick?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chris, I just want to ask you guys for some advice real quick. Just derail the show a bit here. It's summertime. I have about $100 in flight credit.
Okay.
What state should I go visit? I kind of want to visit a new state. I've only been to a handful. What would you guys recommend?
Well, where have you been?
So I've been to Nevada. I've been to Portland, Oregon. Really in band. I've been a couple part, but I'm going to Florida in August. I've been to Utah. Just really not too much. Pretty lame. So I'm interested in New Orleans. Like, do you guys have a recommendation? It's only $100 towards the flight, but it's like,
right.
I don't know. What would you guys say?
If I had a stray $100, of course I would look, price, of course, dependent. I would look East Coast for sure. I would try and I've never been out to New York before. That's definitely on the bucket list. I would check there. Philly for sure. Have you been to Miami, Nate?
No, I
feel like Nate would enjoy Florida culture. I don't know
yeah.
if he would indulge in Florida culture,
but not
I think
Miami,
he would.
though.
I would think he would like. Probably not. Yeah,
I wasn't gonna. Yeah,
Nate's more of a Fort Lauderdale kind of guy.
Well, I am going in August. I'll be in Orlando. So
you'll be in. So yeah, we're not gonna do. I wouldn't say Florida.
Maybe Texas.
I was gonna say
it's close enough too.
Austin.
I know Dave loves Louisiana. I've had a crush on Louisiana for a while.
I would say New Orleans, Austin, or Philly.
Austin,
I think that's a good list. Yeah. Don't sleep on Austin. I've heard really good things about Austin. I went out to Dallas when I was in high school, actually, and it was a really good time. There's obviously great food. They can't sell that enough. And yeah, it's honestly like I think it's more normal than what you would think.
Okay.
Yeah, being on the East Coast, people really appreciate the weather when it's good because it's not always good.
Yeah.
So I would definitely go on the East Coast because people they're out.
Yeah.
They're out.
Maybe even Chicago. We didn't even list Chicago.
We don't have snow in the cities here on the West Coast. Like, that's an interesting concept to me. But just last thing I want to ask, I am rewatching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm making Kalo go through it with me. Sell me on Philly because that's your
me.
Yeah, sell me on Philly.
The show is not a good representation.
No, I mean they shoot it in LA.
Yeah.
But.
I mean, we watched it in Philly, but yeah, I would say the biggest thing about Philly is number one, it's incredibly historic, right? If you're into that, it's one of the oldest,
treasure.
Cities. It was, yeah, that's right. One of the oldest cities in the U.S. So I think there's some really cool tidbits. I do like National Treasure, and I like seeing everything that's out there. The Declaration, the Liberty Bell, everything like that. You got the Rocky statue. You got the steps. You got to do the steps.
The cheesesteaks.
At the museum. Obviously, you got the cheesesteaks. You and I both like food. So you got to get into the cheesesteak situation.
Get the Love Park, right?
Love Park as well. So
Okay.
I think that there's a lot to do in Philly. And again, like I said, people are out and about because it's the summer and they only have
You're caged up in the winter.
4.5 months to do whatever you want. So people are out having a good time. I just think the vibe in Philly is really cool. And, you definitely want to, if you do like the historic aspect, you definitely want to cross it off the old bucket list.
Okay. All right. Great. I think you guys are helping me out quite a bit. But if we combine our two derailings from these last two segments, check out the Bill Burr Philly rant. If you haven't seen that, Bill Burr going in on Philly.
He goes in on a lot of things.
Well, it was a long time ago. It was really early. It was early, like mid 2000s. And
does he talk about blowing it up? Because he's been talking about population control for like 8 years.
No, they did an outdoor comedy set in Philly. Anyone who's seen it would recommend it, I would imagine. But he did an outdoor comedy show, and the fans in Philly, it's like middle of the day, and they've been drunk for hours, and they're harassing everybody. And he goes out and just goes in on everyone out there. It's a low quality video, but it's an internet classic.
It's high quality entertainment.
Family on the SAC chat is saying Seattle.
I'll just never go to. I just hate the Seahawks so much.
Okay, there you go.
That's
that's strong, man.
That's the truth.
Yes, market. Yeah.
My parents just went and said it was awesome, but I'm like, I'm sorry.
Sure it is.
I can't do it.
That's a little much, Nate.
Hey, dude.
It is. That's kind of going a step too far.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to LA.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You're not gonna deny my fandom, though.
No.
Yeah.
Live your life.
I feel you. I'm not a big fan of the Bay either. So
Well,
San Francisco specifically.
Yeah, it's tough out there.
Well, hey, Nate, we
Thanks
wish
for the
you
advice.
We wish you the best.
Any texts or anything too, I'll take advice.
Give Nate suggestions.
Nate suggestions. Seattle is the one. Well, Nate, I mean, why would they send it in? The one that they sent in, you said you never.
Yeah, well, okay, that's true. I guess.
Send in other ones.
Go
to North Dakota.
You have family said Miami in the summer. It'll definitely be hot. And let me tell you right now, you better start saving now.
I know. I almost told him Atlanta too.
Dude,
I was like, it's probably nasty out
Can I just share with you the price of my flight to Orlando? American Airlines. You're not going to believe it. $165 each round trip.
What?
So cheap.
How far in advance did you buy
So
it?
cheap.
That's crazy.
I bought it a couple weeks ago.
Oh man.
Now do Miami.
Yeah, I know. Miami's crazy. And then that's a far drive from Orlando to Miami. So.
Yeah.
But I was shocked.
Go look at the Taj Mahal while you're out there. The Orlando Magic.
Could have been Malik's home. He decided to stay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
24-17, 25-17 Kings over the Knicks.
Keon Ellis with 10 points.
Keon Ellis with 10 points. Okay, now that we're here, can he stop now? Can you just take him out of the game right now?
Honestly,
we're talking about a guy who could start. And you have Brandon Pajemski, who's no longer playing Summer League. You have Trace Jackson Davis. Right. You pull these guys out. It's the same as varsity JV. You got your reps in. Yep. Let's have a little bit of respect for Keon Ellis and pull him out.
Yeah, this dude just dove at his legs. And I, as you were saying that, I was like, come on.
Get him out of there.
I think I've seen enough. And now he's kind of limping. He's got a little
get him out of there.
It's like, he's shown it all. And I mean, it wouldn't surprise. Jeez, that's scary.
See, man, and who is that?
Just don't need that. And that's the thing is these guys are trying to get paid, and so they're flying around, they're diving for loose balls, all that stuff, and it's just I don't think Keon needs to be out there. He definitely shown enough. He did hit his free throw.
He's about to hit this second one.
I just think that we've seen enough. We know the caliber of player Keon is. He's 4 of 4, 2 of 2 from 3 right now. He's locked in. He's good. There's no concern about, maybe, last year was just a fluke or, he was getting open looks. And so he just hit his open looks. And Nate, by the way, you jinxed him. He missed the second free throw. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
And he just got a steal. So
was that his first miss of the game?
Right it was. That was his first miss of the game.
Get him out of there.
First quarter's about to end.
Yeah. It's just, we've seen enough. He's more than proved himself. Give him the rest of the summer off. He's earned it. He busted his behind all last year. I've got no problem with him sitting out. And, like you said, I mean, other teams do it all the time. Pajemski's not playing. And I'm sure Brandon Miller and Jaime Jaquez aren't going to be playing
this
for
is
the next
nuts
10
now.
days either.
Is Keon Ellis better than Pajemski? just looking right now. That's kind of a silly question.
Wow.
I don't know if it is.
But we've been talking about these two a lot.
Anthony Slater just came out and talked about how beloved Brandon Podziemski is.
That's his
I think he's more valuable, but that says more about where the Warriors are versus where the Kings are.
It's just, again, it's more just like the scarcity to your point.
They
Like, it's just, they don't have,
point guard.
it's like he is there. If he's not their most exciting young player besides Kuminga, then, I mean, it's just that, he's higher up on the totem pole where Keon Ellis is, frankly, we got Keegan up there. Keegan's way ahead of him in terms of value and where he's standing with the team.
They
and
have
then you
two
have
pieces.
Malik, you've got Kevin, and then Keon's probably somewhere around there. So it's like Keon is probably the, no disrespect, but 6th or 7th most valuable guy on the Kings. And frankly, Brandon Podziemski is probably like number 3 or 4.
Okay, so
for their asset list,
I would think.
You're saying
I think he's higher.
He could. I mean, I
think he's
Steph,
2.
obviously. You think Kuminga?
I thought you meant of the young guys.
No.
Just
Just in
total.
general.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
in total.
probably 4.
I have Keon 6 or 7 for the Kings.
Who's got more value right now? Andrew Wiggins or Podziemski?
Definitely Podziemski.
Yeah,
definitely Podziemski.
Okay, you're saying Podziemski's value to the Warriors is higher than Keon's is.
That's why it's tough to have the conversation. Yeah,
that's why it's okay.
Tough to nail it down specifically.
Who's a better player?
That's what I was asking.
I think it's close.
The most upfront.
Yeah.
I think it's very close.
Yeah, value-wise, it's not close. Player for player-wise, I think you could ask a lot of Kings fans, and they'll tell you Keon Ellis without a doubt. And I think you talk to Warrior fans, and they'll tell you you're smoking something if you think that Keon Ellis is.
What package would you want more? Kuminga and Podziemski, or Keegan and Keon?
That's a great question. That's
Keegan
a great question.
I'm the Kings fan, though.
Yeah.
So
No, I mean, I probably think that I would take Keegan and Keon because that equals a perfect player, right? Like you got a 40% 3-point shooter and a guy who can do a 3-and-D. And then on the other side, you have Kuminga, who's a great athlete, but I don't know what he is. Like ceiling-wise, for sure. I mean, ceiling-wise, Podziemski, a lot of people are high on his ceiling. I'm personally not. I'm high on his floor, but I don't really see the ceiling there. But Kuminga has the highest ceiling of all of those guys. So it just really, that question depends on how much I think personally, how much you value Kuminga. If I'm building a team that I'm trying to win within the next couple of years, I'm taking Keon and Keegan and I'm plugging and playing. I think both of those guys can play on quite literally any team in the league right now. Not that those other two can't, but I think Kuminga, you kind of have to like cater to him
what is
in
he
order
doing?
to figure out.
Yeah, what is he doing? All right, Nate from the 916, Nashville. Check out Nashville.
Nashville is probably the most trendy spot right now.
It's the number 1 bachelorette.
Yeah.
I don't know about bachelor parties, but I know it's number 1 for bachelorette.
I hate country music. So if that's part of it, I'm out.
It's definitely.
Why did I see you at Country at the Park?
That's because I was working it.
Yeah.
Because I like overtime.
No,
sure do.
Because you
Right,
like
Chris?
country a little bit.
No, we love
No,
it.
Chris,
Just a little
Chris
bit.
knows.
Yeah.
So Nashville
That was a
is
great
there.
time.
And I was going to say it depends on what type of trip it is, but I mean, Scottsdale will get you right.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like,
Scottsdale.
Arizona, I could see, but it might be too hot. Like that's
So,
especially now.
I don't know if I have to use my credit by October 5th or if I need to take
Have
the
the
trip
flight,
before. Yeah. So I got to figure that part
go
out.
check out those details. From UPS Chris, you got to check out Montana in the summertime. Go check out Yellowstone Park. It is amazing.
Yeah.
Went
I
to
went out to
Bozeman and went
Montana.
fly fishing down the Yellowstone River. I know, Nate, you don't golf a ton, but I heard the golf in Idaho and Montana and all those places
Really?
ridiculous.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I was in
Ridiculous.
like
Awesome.
literally population under. I think it was under 100 in the Montana city that I visited. It was for
That's
a
so
wedding.
cool, though. Going
It
to
was
like
awesome.
a rundown
We
bar.
It was for a
Refreshing.
wedding. We literally
Yeah.
took over the entire city.
That's
It's just a
awesome.
dirt road,
Mhm.
or it's not a dirt. I mean, it is a single road that is just a little town. I think it's called Jackson, Montana. You can look it up. They got a great hot spring. That's where we stayed. But yeah, Montana, great views, but you're not going to talk to a lot of people out there.
Views. Hey,
Fun.
speaking of places to visit, nobody brought up anywhere in Colorado. Well, we're going to get into a little bit. The Colorado football team is Paul Feinbaum goes crazy
Nuclear.
on the Colorado football team. Yeah, remember that friend of a friend of a friend that you had that all of a sudden was rooting for Oregon? How much does the Colorado football team move college football? Then we get back into some NFL and Kings. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings
Out
game.
of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back, He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, the A's first pick in this year's draft is Wake Forest first baseman Nick Kurtz. Now, Kurtz, a 6'5" left-handed hitter, has drawn comparisons to Matt Olson and maybe even Hall of Famer Jim Thome. And even though the A's had the fourth pick in the draft, A's scouting director Eric Kubota said that Kurtz was the first pick on their board.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver that includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto-pay with stored bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
I'm a very active person that likes to move around and go. The pain I was in was really excruciating. It was actually debilitating. I was basically heading towards a sedentary lifestyle. I had really tried everything, but I quickly lost hope with all of the things that we had tried, and that's what led me to the Good Feet store. And when I found the Good Feet system, it really just changed everything. It brought me back to life. I have my active lifestyle back.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville. Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LT Turbo Max. In stock after rebates. Always 5 to choose from.
Exclusive. All in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. N73124.
Did you know about 1/3 of our lives is spent sleeping? Hi, this is Franklin Rosen with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. If we're going to spend that much time in our bedrooms, then our bedrooms ought to reflect our personalities. I remember many weekend mornings when our kids would jump into our beds trying to coax us to start our days more on their schedules than ours. Naturewood Home Furnishings' huge bedroom sale is here, and there's no better time to find the perfect accent piece for your bedroom, or even better, to start fresh by designing your bedroom to fit your lifestyle. From a new mattress and foundation to dressers to nightstands to lamps and more. Naturewood Home Furnishings will help you create a space from simple to luxurious and anything in between. Just drop by and let Naturewood's team help you envision a bedroom fit for 1/3 of your life. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable bedroom sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
Catch some Aggie football this fall and save money while doing it. Grab one of our all-new mini plans and save up to 40% off single-game tickets. With our can't-miss home slate of games this season, you can pick 82 games for just $60 or any 3 games for $75. Pick the games that fit your schedule and come support the Aggies on their quest for a Big Sky championship. Mini plans can be purchased by calling the ticket office at 530-752-2471 or online at ucdavisaggies.com/tickets. Go Axe.
Hey, what's up, Sacramento? It's Kyle Draper. Turn up the cleanliness at your restaurant, healthcare, or industrial business with Alsco Uniforms, the official sponsor of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew. We've got you covered with crisp uniforms, hygienically clean linens, floor mats, and, of course, mops delivered weekly. But that's not all. Alsco Uniforms also offers weekly services for first aid and restroom supplies. Discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms. Just go to alsco.com to learn more. Again, that's ALSCO.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. KHTK AM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sacktown Sports. Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
You know him. You love him. Mike Epps returns to Sacramento for a night of nonstop laughs. And, of course, Sacktown Sports wants you in the building. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now, looking for caller number
6.
Caller number 666 to score that pair of tickets. Chris broke his mic. To score that pair of tickets, check out Mike Epps at Hard Rock Live on October 12th, courtesy of Live Nation. For more information, visit sacktownsports.com. Caller number 6, 916-339-1140. 916-339-1140.
What do we do about this mic?
339-1140. He's just going.
I don't think Drapes is going to be very happy with this.
Yeah. And why does this? It's
It happened to that one, yeah.
But it's been fixed before. Nate, before you answer, let those callers pile in because it is caller number 6, so we have some time. Let's get to this Paul Feinbaum sound. And he is essentially roasting Colorado. And a lot of people had feelings on Colorado. It feels like it was much more than just a year ago.
Yeah.
But this was basically Paul Feinbaum leaning in because I think Colorado had said, or Shador said, we're everybody's Super Bowl.
That's right.
And that sent Paul Feinbaum on a frenzy. By the way, before we play the audio, I did love just, you ever have any free time just listening to the Paul Feinbaum show and those callers, when we talk about small towns and small cities.
Oh, yeah.
I listen and the callers, they just crack me up. Yeah.
That's all you hear.
It's just go dogs. Yep. Let's hear from Paul Feinbaum as far as Colorado is concerned.
Anyone asking whether Deion Sanders and Colorado are close to the playoffs simply doesn't understand the reality of the road. They're not going to the playoffs this year, and I'm not sure Deion Sanders is ever going to get them to the playoffs because I don't think he has the patience to stay at Colorado long enough. There's so many misconceptions out there. Deion Sanders is the best salesman I've ever seen. I personally love the guy and for what he stands for, but the program looking out has a ridiculously inflated view of itself. I heard Shador Sanders, who's a fabulous quarterback, say last week, we are everyone's Super Bowl. Shador, you are not. You are an easy win nowadays. You got off to a phenomenal start last year, beating a couple of mediocre teams that had big names. And quite frankly, you haven't done anything since other than crash and burn. So I know that the media loves this story. We fall all over ourselves. But Colorado isn't important in college football. Deion Sanders is. He's a standalone person. He's one of the most charismatic people we've ever seen. But Colorado is nothing. They don't matter. They're irrelevant in the big picture of college football.
So, like I said, I like Paul Feinbaum. I think he is one of the most unique voices in sports and obviously in college sports. But I do feel like he's contradicting himself a little bit. If Deion is part of Colorado,
I was thinking that too.
It's really hard to separate,
right.
Deion is important in college football or in football, but not Colorado.
Right.
I do think that the hype has chilled out a little bit because they lost and everybody wanted to see him lose and they lost. So sure, now all of a sudden nobody cares, but I guess we could go fair or foul on this. I don't really have a problem with what Paul Feinbaum said. I just think he's kind of contradicting himself a little bit. But to that point, I don't think that I do think there is a level of, here's the question. With the hype now gone, the only reason I would agree with Shador that it's everybody's Super Bowl is because you had random rappers and sports figures showing up and celebrities showing up at their game. I don't know if they're showing up with Rick Ross and a bunch of random people. I don't know if they're showing up this season because Colorado doesn't have the same hype. But as long as though, and I think it's the same reason. Now, I'm not comparing the two because Serena is a great, one of the greatest tennis players of all time, if not the greatest. But I think it's the same reason, obviously, later in her career, that Serena would, people would mount up and end up beating Serena because they look around and they see all these people, Zendaya and a bunch of celebrities in the stands, and they say, man, I want to show out, right? I think that's where Shedeur is coming from, but I don't know if they're going to have that hype going into this season. And if there ain't nobody in the stands, to Paul Feinbaum's point, then nobody cares.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely think that there's, I agree with you mainly that there is nuggets of truth in what Paul Feinbaum's saying. I just think he kind of took it a step too far because I do think Shedeur's right. Like, I definitely think, now, is every single week going to be somebody's Super Bowl? Probably not. Like, if USC is playing Colorado, USC has bigger fish to fry on their schedule than Colorado. But yeah, we saw it last year after they got their TCU win, that Oregon game. Remember the video, the blogs and everything, the vlogs, I guess, that came out.
They're doing it for social media.
Exactly. So in that sense, Shedeur's not wrong. He's very much, he went through it. Like, he did go through teams saying, yeah, Colorado State. Remember that? I mean, the fact that we talked about a Colorado State versus Colorado game, and it had real legs for a couple days after the was it a dirty hit on Travis Hunter? Like, I think there is some truth to what Shedeur is saying, but yeah, I mean, also there is definitely some truth to what Paul Feinbaum's saying, and there's a lot better teams. It's almost, it's in a way you could equate it, I think, to the WNBA, right?
Where it's like, were gonna go
this is Caitlin Clark, and it's like, okay, yeah, she's great. You could definitely pay attention to her, but let's not forget about the Georgias and the other teams in the world that are actually keeping this thing going. Like, yes, there's the entertainment side of this, but there's also still the very real competitive side of this. And it just depends on how you want to follow it. I don't think there's a wrong way of following it. And it feels like now Colorado has kind of become this symbolic stance for real college, because we know college football is pretty fraternal, right?
Yes.
Like, people really care about their college football, and it's everything in their life. And I think that you're starting to see a kind of like soccer. What happens in soccer? Oh, no, this was my thing. I was into college football. And now all of a sudden, now that Messi's here and now that Shedeur and Dion's here, now you want to pay attention and act like you've been riding with this the entire time. So I get why there's some backlash from the purists, but ultimately, I mean, it makes the sport grow. Like, and again, in that sense, it's really a similar conversation to Caitlin Clark, to where it really doesn't matter how well Colorado does, because they're bringing eyeballs to the sport where, frankly, they just weren't coming before. It's not like, it just in media in general, we talk about, audience pools and, hey, is there just this audience or is there a wider audience? It's not like the Colorado fans are taking away from Georgia watchers. They're not taking away from USC watchers. The Colorado experience is pretty singularly that. I think people don't watch college football, but they would watch Colorado.
Yeah, and I think college football needs it because it is so regional. I mean, when it's two SEC teams, it's terrible as far as if anybody cares outside of SEC land to watch the national championship. And if it's SEC and a Big Ten team, it's not that much different.
No.
Right? It's not that much different. All right, Chris, we have a little bit of trivia here. And Rod, we see Nate saying we got to get to you on the other side. Trivia here. Okay. And Nate, you can hop in too. Where will Colorado be playing football next season? What conference?
Oh man, I should know this because I just fired up NCAA the other day.
Is it the SEC?
That is incorrect.
Okay.
I would guess the ACC.
That is also incorrect. That is where Cal and Stanford are going.
Dang.
But Colorado is going to, I'll give you one more guess.
Big 12?
Big 12.
Okay.
That is correct. Rod, we see you. Rod wants to talk Feinbaum on the other side.
Don't ask me any other schools because I won't know.
Well, I'm going to. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
We all know what UV rays can do to our skin, but they can also do damage to your car. Keep that from happening with 303 Protectant. 303 Protectant keeps the sun's harmful rays from causing fading and cracking in rubber, plastic, or vinyl surfaces. From the dashboard to the tires, 303 Protectant keeps your car looking new longer. Get 303 Protectant today at Advanced Auto Parts. Visit 303radio.com for more information.
Some people just know safe drivers save more with Allstate. Just like they know a saxophone solo makes any song smoother. See? Smooth. And they know if you're a safe driver, you can save up to 40% with Allstate. Now that's nice.
Based on the national average premium savings for Allstate customers with a clean driving record versus those without. Savings vary by state and based on how you buy. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
916-339-1140, and congrats to our winner of the Mike Epps tickets. You have
Matthew.
Ooh, Matthew. Shout out Matthew. You have a couple more days if you want to check out Mike Epps October 12th, Hard Rock Live. Let's get to Rod, who wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Rod? What you got for us?
Yeah, hey. Well, your trivia question had me shouting at my my radio here in the car. Big 12, Big 12, Big 12.
Right.
So anyway, hey, I think what you're going to see in regards to this Feinbaum comment, Colorado, I think that's you're going to see that from the media, big media, especially ESPN, in post realignment. The Big 12 is no longer the Big 12, if that makes sense.
Right.
You got Texas, you got Oklahoma moving to the SEC. You got teams like Arizona State, Arizona, Colorado, BYU, Utah moving to the Big 12. It's still not really the same. And even with a 12-team playoff, there's going to be, if Colorado was in a different conference, it would be different. But so I think it's kind of a shot at all the little schools, I guess you could say. And that's why they don't really – I think what he's saying, if you read between the lines, is the smaller schools don't matter. We're going to find out it's going to be the Big Ten, the ACC, and it's going to be the SEC that's going to be that's what this is all about. Everything else is second tier, and they don't matter. That's why he prefaced that by saying that Deion mattered.
Right.
Deion does matter. The school doesn't matter because they're in a lesser tier.
Yeah.
So, and I just think it's unfortunate because, Colorado last year, the ratings, they were winning the ratings. Everyone was watching them early on. Whether you wanted them to win, whether you wanted them to lose, that game against TCU was fantastic. Even the Colorado State game was fantastic.
Yeah.
Rod, who's your team? Who's your team?
Hook 'em, baby.
Hey, there you go.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Hey, well, Arch Manning, it's time.
Next year. You still got Quinn
that was difficult. I can't wait till College Football 25 gets released tomorrow.
Yes.
I've been waiting for that for years. So I actually had to buy a new console just to get it.
Well, you don't have to wait till tomorrow. It's out now.
You had to get the pre-order.
That's the
$150.
Yeah. I already had to fork out $400 for the new console.
My goodness. That's dedication.
$100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've been waiting for it. Anyway, thanks, guys. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks for the call, Rod. Yeah, I do
see you on the sticks, Rod.
Right. I do think it's a good shout, and really it's the small right. And we'll have to look at, and Rod just reeled off a bunch of the different schools, but yeah, going to
remember
the Big 12, maybe it's the Big 12, I guess not being thought of and I always think the Big 12 was looked at a little bit differently. They didn't have the championship for all those years. They would always have a team that would get
Texas
in.
and Oklahoma.
When the TCU gets in, they get smacked.
Right.
You know what I mean? They found their way in the national championship, and that's who Paul Feinbaum referenced when he said, "Oh, you beat some teams with big names because they were coming off of losing the national championship, and then Colorado beats them and." Oh, well, where was TCU actually? So, yeah, it's a interesting time. I was going to say sad, but really just interesting time when it comes to college sports in general. And, yeah, you're playing college football 2025, and you don't even know what conference are in these days.
No idea. Don't even. Yeah. You said Cal and Stanford are in the ACC now.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah. That's news to me.
It's still a logistical nightmare.
It's just terrible. It's just terrible.
It's a lot.
It doesn't make any sense. Like they're gonna have these kids in Palo Alto and Berkeley, flying all the way out ACC. So they're gonna go
Clemson,
to Florida State. They're going, like, what are we talking about? Like,
North Carolina,
which is Duke and UNC and NC State. Like,
what if
what are we doing?
Right. Well,
and it's the other way around too.
When
where
it comes
like,
to
those
scheduling,
guys gotta come over here.
You have to. So how do you do this? Answer this question for me.
And go to school too. Student athletes.
Well, it's going to be
student first.
All this stuff is headed towards online because
absolutely
the schedule. You talk about the River Cats and the A's having a logistical issue with scheduling. What do you do if does it make more sense if you are Cal and 1 week you have Duke, and the next week you're at Duke and then you're at North Carolina?
Right.
Do you just do online and you stay out there for a week?
2 cross-country flights, or I guess 4 cross-country flights. Yeah, no, I mean, that makes more sense to me than flying these kids back and losing 2 days of travel. Like, yeah, it's absolutely crazy. But, that probably should tell you how much money is involved in all of this, that they don't care. They don't even bat an eye at that kind of problem.
No.
Because clearly they're making so much money on the back end of it that it's worth any logistical nightmare it is. It's worth any actual time issue that it is for, again, these student athletes. Like, it's crazy. And I mean, again, I'm joking here because these guys aren't students anymore. They're not. There's, like, if we're talking, again, cross-country flights to just go play a single game and then have to do it again the next week. These guys are perfect, and they're getting paid already.
They're getting paid now, which is fine. I like
I'm
because
more than okay with it. But it's just let's just call a spade a spade. These guys are school employees, and they're not really students.
Yeah.
They're people of student age, but they are. I mean, I'm sure they take classes when they can, but I mean, there's no way between practice and having to eat right and just doing life itself that these guys have any time to actually be a student.
Yeah.
Update on Keon Ellis, balling out still. He's back in the game. I think he's got 19 points. He's like 7 for 11 or something.
Wow.
He's having like 5 assists. I think. Sorry, it came up a second ago, but Keon's looking good.
Check
he
him
shouldn't
out.
be out there. Yeah.
Don't play the second half.
But they're losing.
Mike Brown's
sitting in. He's like, why, Doug? What are you doing?
Well,
we talked about this. More Timmy.
They want the championship. Are they getting rings again for Summer League? Remember that whole thing last season?
Did they when they won it?
No, not when the Kings won it. But
that was the Ray McCallum.
I think it started last year.
Yep. Imani Bates got a ring. That's
Imani Bates.
Yeah.
Yes,
that was your guy, Chris.
That was.
How could I
It
forget?
Still is, man. Still is. Still
I remember. We did videos on Imani Bates.
I sure did.
Yeah.
Dang right.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that Keon's going, but if you want to
just cut it, man.
If you want to take the lead, get the ball in.
Is that Mason Jones wearing 8?
It is. Yeah. He looks great, man.
Yeah,
he
looks like a different
human,
It's
man.
crazy.
He does
crazy.
look completely
I think
different.
we need
really
a fresh
crazy.
start on Mason. By we, I mean me.
Well, then you're gonna have to
start over.
You're gonna have to write something and be very.
Don't wait. That's Nate weight shaming essentially. He's like, now that Mason Jones is like clear, it's like, I'll give him another chance.
Hey, I'll own up to it. I'm not a good guy. Never said I was.
Yeah,
never
claimed to be a good guy. I'll apologize.
Understood.
I was just upset in the moment.
Yeah, that's right.
We never understood what
his
your
hair's not
issue
blonde
was.
anymore
No, I liked his hair before, so
okay.
But it
Okay.
Speaking of, you have a Jordan Ford update. He's been doing pretty well, Chris.
He's been balling. Yeah, I just I saw his stat line come across my screen last night, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot that Jordan Ford is out there in Vegas. And yeah, he had a rough first game. Looked at his numbers. He played the first night of Summer League, 7 points. He was 3 of 13, but since then he has just balled for New Orleans, and they really haven't played well as a team during Summer League. But Jordan Ford in his second game had 13 points. He was 6 of 8. And then yesterday, 19 points, 8 of 10. He was the only Pelican who was in double figures. So I again, just great to see Jordan Ford out there balling, trying to get another contract. He probably should be putting up these numbers to be honest. Like he is older and playing, in the summer league where there's a lot of first and second year guys. So he should be cooking, but nonetheless, those percentages, 8 of 10 and then 6 of 8 in the game previous. Good to see Jordan Ford balling, and I just hope he gets a training camp invite because, again, we've talked about what he is, and he kind of feels like a bit of a 4A player, but I think that there's a world where Jordan Ford could be potentially a third point guard, maybe a fourth point guard on a team, but I just really obviously hope to see this Sacramento kid shine.
Coming up next, we go around Vegas and check out the Summer League. Who's hot? Who's not? Oh, wait, that's not our segment. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
18 number ones. What was I thinking? Countless ACM and CMA awards. Sold out world tours. And now Dierks Bentley is coming to Sacramento for Country in the Park 2. September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Parmalee, Dasha, Kelsey Hart and more, plus line dancing, food trucks, and more. Tickets available now at CITVFest.com.
Brought to you by McKee Brothers, Clemmy Rooter and Heat, and Dawson Oil Company.
Summers are for Sacramento River Cats baseball. Your River Cats are home this weekend, which includes the fan favorite Star Wars Night on Saturday, July 20th. Bid on limited edition Star Wars jerseys and meet your favorite characters throughout the game. Elevate your experience with the VIP home plate tailgate while tickets last, and stick around post-game for a Star Wars-themed fireworks spectacular. For more details and to purchase tickets, visit rivercats.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton, and they have a special deal going right now just for you. Receive your first month's payment up to $1,500 on them on select new 2024 GLE vehicles or the all-new E-Class now at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Rates begin at 1.99% APR on select certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz. Plus, you can always check out their other deals at mbofstockton.com or head on down I-5 to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you're in the market for a new car, shop Folsom Lake Kia. Low interest rates, low payments, and zero down deals with approval of credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Chris, we're going to get into our number 10 for our top 10 QBs. We are each day moving forward until we get to number 1. And obviously, we think we'll all have the same for number 1. But as we get to number 1,
we'll have a twist on that day as well.
Yeah.
We will have a twist.
Yes, we will have a twist on that day. But we are about to reveal our number 10 picks starting today, July 17th, on a Wednesday. But wanted to finish up going around Summer League. We're going to save Bronny for crosstalk with Whitey because I don't know if we've ever gotten Whitey's thoughts on Bronny and his stats. It's been a little bit rough, and it was rough for Alex Sarr last night, the number 2 pick, doing his best Tony Snell impression. Chris, no, I'm not trying to mess around here. He had 0 points. He was 0 for 15 from the field.
Oof.
He was 0 for 7 from 3-point range. And I want to ask you a question. When we were watching a couple of those highlights, I don't remember him chucking threes up that much.
It's a work in progress.
I think he's completely
he
lost.
Takes a couple, but yeah.
He couldn't even hit a free throw. 0 for 2.
Oof.
If you're 7 foot,
yeah,
and you're not going up against NBA rotation guys,
right,
and you put
There's
up
not many
a
7-footers
donut.
in Summer League.
No, I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Was it in Greece where Jonte Porter got denied?
Yeah, I think so.
To try to get back into basketball? Alex Sarr might be investigated. He might get investigated, Chris. He might get investigated. How do you?
He is in Vegas.
How do you
He's
do
in Vegas,
that?
man. It's not. It wouldn't
You're
be hard.
7 foot. You just got to get on your tippy toes.
That's it.
You can't get a putback.
A putback. Come on.
And I'm not going to bother trying to look up minutes because it's going to make my head hurt.
I think it was 30. Honestly,
30
I'm
minutes.
pretty sure it was 30 minutes.
You can't score one bucket.
Yeah, no, not a single one.
Okay, big deal, little deal, no deal.
It's you know what? I'll say it's a big deal. I'm not gonna downplay it. You can't go 0 for 15 and like 0 for 2 from the free throw line. And like you said, not even a tip. We're talking about summer league here.
Yes.
Like there is a handful. And when I say there's got to be under 6, so 5 or less 7-footers in summer league. And he's one of them. And the fact that he goes 0 for 15 as the number 2 pick in the draft, that's crazy. I mean, it might not be some sign of what his rookie year or what his career is going to look like, but you can't tell me that if a rookie goes 0 for 15, you're not going to be concerned. And you're not going to say, at the very least, did we just royally screw this up? Because you just can't do it. I mean, it feels like I don't even need to say anything because it speaks for itself. 0 for 15 at 7 feet tall, number 2 pick in the draft. We're talking about Hasheem Thabit territory if we're doing those kind of things. So hopefully that's the worst game of Alex Sarr's career. But you know what? No, I think I hope I will confidently say that will be the worst game of Alex Sarr's career. 0 for 15 is terrible. Even to get 15 shots, if you're 0 for to continue to shoot to the point where you take 15, that's a bad day. You're feeling it at that point.
Right. You're feeling something. That's a bad day at the office. And Chris, like I said, we're getting to Bronny with Whitey here before the end of the show. But Matas Buzelis, a guy that dropped, okay, for whatever reason, he talks a lot of trash. He said his dad told him to be humble. He said, bump that. I'm going to say what I want because I work hard. He's one of those guys who he's got a lot of clips out there.
Right.
If he doesn't play well, he's going to get roasted. But your boy is balling right now, and we didn't really pay attention to him because he was supposed to go way before. He ends up going, what, number 11?
11, yeah.
So we didn't pay attention to him because he just wasn't in the realm. But okay, Chris, hear me out. You got a Josh Giddey who had balled out for Australia.
Sure.
You got a Matas Buzelis. You still have Vucevic because nobody wants that contract. You still got Zach LaVine because nobody definitely wants that contract. Could you be, and I think I saw a report, of course they're going to say this.
Yeah.
In the East, could you be playing hunting?
I mean, they were last year. I don't see why not. I mean, obviously DeMar was huge for them, so maybe that's the concern is you lose probably your best player, and you know it's going to be tough. But yeah, if Matas is fun and exciting, I'm not going to put that on a rookie's shoulders though. I just don't think he's like generational. Like I'm not talking like I don't think he can walk in and be that level of impact already.
I sent you a message when I DM'd you on Twitter. I said, he might be one of them ones.
Right.
But you don't know if he's going to be one of them ones.
Well, it's Summer League.
Well,
fool me 100 times.
I told you. I saw Beyonce, and I said, she's going to be a star.
That's right.
I saw her in Destiny's Child.
Right.
I was in 5th grade.
Yeah.
I got an eye for talent, Chris.
You got an eye for sure.
And I got to see Tejan Salon because that might be a swing and a miss. Might be.
I saw somebody saying, I love how everybody who loves Tejan Salon says, yeah, once he figures out like the playing basketball part, he's gonna be great. Besides that, like he's there. He's
got a great
ready.
motor.
He's just got to figure out how to play basketball. But after that, he's solid.
You can't teach the motor.
You can't teach hops. You can't teach height. You can't teach length. You can't teach any of that. You can't teach motor.
Mm-hmm.
You also probably can't teach how to be an NBA player.
Well, you know what is funny with these international guys, and you look at his competition before he came over, then you watch Summer League, and there are levels to this. And I would say, based on the highlights that we saw, he's wide open all the time. I would say that, I would put Summer League, and maybe it's just from the clips that we watched, but it feels like Summer League higher than where some of these guys play international.
Guys, for sure.
Not all of them.
Yeah, not all of them.
But some of them. Okay, Nate, handing it over to you. Let's start. Okay.
Wow.
All right, Nate. The floor
this is
yours.
usually reserved for autumn, but we'll take it.
I was going to say it feels like autumn.
It's nice and cold in the studio. It's nice.
Yeah, leaf just fell outside. Wow, that's crazy.
All right. So I had this idea the other day.
Yeah.
We were a lot of QB lists are coming out recently.
Too many.
CBS has one, ESPN has one. Those are kind of the two big ones everyone's talking about. PFF. I was like, we debate all the time who the best quarterbacks are, right? It's fun, it's easy. So I said, every day for 10 days in a row, not counting the weekends, let's give a power ranking of quarterbacks we would want coming into this next NFL season, leading our team. Like, which guys would we want going forward just for this next season, right? It's pretty traditional power ranking. And I pitched it to the guys, and they said, let's do it. And I was shocked. They usually turn down what I say.
Every time.
It was nice. So with that said, today,
like Dave said, it's the quietest part of the year.
Yeah,
So
we'll give Nate a shot.
We were like, I don't know what else to tell him.
So with that said, today we're all going to give our 10th best or 10th quarterback we want starting for our team going forward for this season, the 2024 NFL season.
That's a mouthful.
With all that said, I'll go ahead and start us off today.
Thank you.
Jared Goff is my number 10.
Oh.
This took a while.
No, 10 is tough.
This is hard. I had my number 8 at 10 earlier. So in 2 days, there'll be a big conversation about this.
Okay.
Jared Goff's my number 10. I think throughout his career, he's gotten too much hate. I think he's a very competent quarterback. Very, in Detroit, he's got a decent amount of talent around him. His coach knows how to play to his advantages. And that's not I'm not talking about Jared Goff. I'm talking about the talent around him. I should be talking about Jared Goff, the man. Jared Goff last season threw 30 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. That's over 2-1.
Yeah.
That's solid. That's a good player. He's a traditional pocket passer guy. I liked him. I think he kind of blew it against the Niners. It was his team mostly, I guess. But I wouldn't put that all on him. But Jared Goff's my number 10.
Jared Goff is not in my top 10.
Okay.
He's not in mine either.
I feel like I actively tried to keep him out.
My list is like psychotic too later on, so we'll get there.
Well,
10 was tough.
10 is
was
hard.
tough.
Yeah.
I feel like my number 10 is going to be met with some questions.
Okay.
I have as my number 10 quarterback. I have it as Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Come on.
I think that, he's coming off the Achilles injury, and I kind of feel like, with that being said, having a number 10, I think, isn't crazy. I think it's actually totally fine because
I agree.
He's 40. He hasn't played a good season of football in
2
or
seasons.
I should say a great season of football.
This coming from a Vikings fan.
I mean, there's a reason why the Packers were okay with letting Aaron Rodgers eventually go.
So now you got to deal with Jordan Love.
That's fine. I got no problem. I got no problems with Jordan Love yet. Yeah, I think. Aaron is definitely still a great quarterback. He could probably have stiff legs and probably still throw a 60-yard bomb. He's got ridiculous touch. He's got ridiculous talent. I'm sure he'll still be fine. He's obviously incredibly motivated to have a great year. But ultimately, I feel like I have to knock him down a couple pegs because he is 40 years old, coming off of an Achilles injury,
right,
and is still on the Jets, who I know they've been trying to shore up that offensive line. That line hasn't been great, and I just think we're kind of doing more so individuals versus how they're going to perform. But I can only guess that Aaron Rodgers is going to have a great season, but I don't think we're going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers as a top 5, top 3 quarterback in the NFL like he's obviously been his entire career. So I'm more thinking of this also as like a move from like 5 to 6 to 10. I'm not really thinking of it as really. I don't know. To me, it feels like he's clearly taking a step back.
I had to move him around several times on my list. Yeah.
There's 2 guys.
I'll say that.
moved
He was
a
at
lot.
10 for a bit. Yeah, there's definitely some movement there for me. Alan?
I got somebody that people probably, you know what? And like I said, I keep saying this because it's true, but number 10 was really tough.
Yeah.
And my honorable mention, I'm going to do that.
Ooh.
Well, actually, I shouldn't do that because then that would say who's not in it. We already revealed Jared Goff, so we shouldn't have done that. But so I'm not going to do honorable mention. I would just say it was really, really tough. And you can hate me if you hate me, but I'm going with Dakota Prescott at number 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got no problem with that.
There's a lack of talent around the league, so I get it. What's your reasoning?
So do you feel like that is less popular than do you feel like you're being more critical of Dak, or do you think that you're actually
I think a lot of people wouldn't
Dak?
have Dak in the top 10.
He was on the top 10 of the ESPN list. Yes,
he was.
Well, that ESPN list sucked.
It's a fair point.
That's why we're doing our list.
Fair point.
This is a better list.
I got Dak Prescott. I'm not a numbers guy. I'll leave that to Nate. But, I'm just kind of going based off
His
the
numbers
eye
are
test.
good. He's got good numbers.
Right? Yeah, I'm just saying. You said why. I'm just saying I watched Dak, and he looks like a top 10 guy.
It's kind of tough to do your reasoning without giving up the rest of your list, too. It's like,
Right.
it's like, hey, yeah, I have Dak 10 because I have 2 and 9 or something. It's like, I think that these 8 guys are just bet. Like you said, you're kind of going more so off eye test, and it's kind of tough.
But it was really tough.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a nice 24-hour tease.
Don't
right
say
there.
your honorable mentions
No,
either.
I'm not. I'm not. But my 12 to
Jared Goff will be my dishonorable mention.
12 to 9 was tough.
Dak is dishonorable for me too. For me, Dak is just kind of a guy that's been.
Now,
we said
here's
this
a
the
guy.
other day.
Here's a guy.
Yeah. What are you doing? He's been in what are you doing mode since his second season.
Yeah,
pretty
but
much.
his number, men lie, women lie. Cowboys numbers also.
You opened up your argument by saying, I'm not a numbers guy.
but I know his are good.
Yeah, after I said it.
I will say Dak is on my list. He is on my list.
Ooh, what a tease. All right, cool. So it'll be more.
Here's the thing. Let's go through. I had Dak. You had who?
I had Aaron Rodgers.
And I put Goff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we already kind of did it. So, obviously, Aaron Rodgers is on everybody's list, and we've already revealed. I think it's fun to say, hey, whoever that person is he on your list? Right. Towards the top of the list.
Right.
So we know Jared is not on ours, but he was number 10 on Nate's. And
Rodgers is in mine. Dak is not on mine.
Nuts.
Yeah. No, it's my list is going to get worse. My list is going to be because I was writing it and I kept going all over the place. My list is insane.
It's just like my list.
It's going to be like people are going to hate me, and that's fine.
I can't wait.
I deserve it.
Can't wait.
It's going to be a fun show.
It's going to be a fun sheep,
It's going to be a fun 10 days. It's going to be a fun 10 days.
Yeah.
Do you have a name for this segment, Nate? The last quarterback.
I'll have one by
It's the last
tomorrow.
segment.
I'll have one by tomorrow.
The LQ.
Or we can ask Whitey for one, maybe. Whitey can maybe help us out.
We don't need a song. It's a quarterback day on a Saturday night. All right.
Give me
Whitey
ideas.
Gleason, speaking of.
That's definitely not going to be a song.
Coming up next, we ask Whitey about Bronny. Is the hate what it should be, better or worse? Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Keegan's going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. You can find Active Liver at Amazon.com or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. Or for a volume discount, visit NewNordicUSA.com. Go to new, NORDICUSA.com. Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS.
Hey, what's up, Sacramento? It's Kyle Draper. Turn up the cleanliness at your restaurant, healthcare, or industrial business with Alsco Uniforms, the official sponsor of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew. We've got you covered with crisp uniforms, hygienically clean linens, floor mats, and of course, mops delivered weekly. But that's not all. Alsco Uniforms also offers weekly services for first aid and restroom supplies. Discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco uniforms. Just go to alsco.com to learn more. Again, that's ALSCO.com.
The Open Championship celebrates its 152nd anniversary this month at Royal Troon in Scotland. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. The game's top players assemble for a chance at the coveted Claret Jug. The Open Championship is about tradition, excellence, and class. And you'll find similar qualities at Naturewood Home Furnishings as they assemble the finest furniture and brand choices for your selection. When you visit Naturewood, you'll be amazed at the gallery of superior furniture available for your lifestyle, for your decor, for your home. This weekend during Naturewood's bedroom sale, you're sure to find the perfect piece you've been searching for. Naturewood is proud to bring you Open Championship updates on this station and proud to offer you the finest furnishings available. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the Waterville.
I would end the day with sore feet, sore legs. The drugstore inserts that I was purchasing were really not very useful at all. I walked into the Good Feet store and the guy kind of grinned at me and said, I hear that a lot. I was living with chronic pain before going to the Good Feet store. Now I don't really have that problem. I'm able to do the things that I expect to be able to do, even at my advanced age. I feel pretty good about what's going on.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
The PGA club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
So we're arguing here with Whitey Gleason.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. Because Whitey thinks that Keon should stay in the game and continue to work on stuff. And I'm saying, Whitey, his handles are his handles. And we all want Keon to work on that handle. But it is what it is. Go grind in the gym alone, Whitey.
No, there's nothing
Did you see,
like
no.
playing when you're
This
trying
is summer league. Did you see
handle
the first quarter, Chris? They dove at his legs. You know how the Knicks play. They think it's WWE.
Right. It wouldn't surprise me if Tibbs is coaching the summer league team too.
Come on, Whitey. Get him out of there.
No. That's why he's there.
No.
He's there to get better.
Where are you at, Chris? I know you said it with me, but
yeah.
But I don't know. Now that Whitey's here.
Yeah. Tell Whitey what you were telling me.
Yeah. What side do you want, Chris?
Yeah. No, definitely no. I'm more so on the get Keon
bodies on the ground.
Yeah, I just don't need. I think he's shown plenty, and I understand what Whitey's
dribbling
saying.
now, Whitey.
Let's keep watching.
He's doing it. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's. I hear what Whitey's saying. I just kind of think that it can be taken care of outside of real game setting, and it's
turnover. Next score.
It's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's not like Keon is. Obviously he's a part of this team's plans 100%. But if Keon Ellis gets minorly injured, I guess it's not the end of the world for the Kings. So it's as everything. It's just kind of risk management, and they
possible
feel like
starter.
Possibly, but it doesn't have to be.
Way.
You can throw Kevin Huerter out there.
Wait.
There's no way Keon Ellis is starting unless somebody's hurt or something.
For the Kings?
Yeah. Huerter's going to start.
Whitey, a lot of people think Keon Ellis is going to start.
I love Keon Ellis. I just don't think he'll start some, but I don't think he's going to start.
Chris, weren't you in the camp of Keon starting?
That's
no. Because I wasn't, because I'm not.
No, I mean, I think that there is definitely a conversation. I definitely feel like Kevin has been a starter and been the starter for this team. And I still think, he at his best, I think is very impactful and can definitely be more impactful from Keon. But I definitely would probably lean towards Keon more so for the defensive aspect of, you have DeMar and De'Aaron out there. I kind of feel like both of those guys, I would much rather have another primary a primary defender on the ball handler.
So we were having a conversation off air, and basically what I'm gathering, Whitey, from some of the things that you've been saying, and I don't want to assume, so I'll throw it to you. Based on what we're hearing from other Kings fans and listeners of the show and social media, it feels like you think that maybe fans need to pump the brakes a little bit on Keon. Is that fair?
No. I love Keon. Look, he's my guy. I feel like I kind of saw a little bit.
I thought he was your guy.
Yeah, I'm not saying he shouldn't start. I just don't think he will. I think Herder is a starter. Herder, can he come off the bench? Do we know? Could he come off the bench and be effective?
I have no idea.
We don't know.
Those were my big questions. There's not a reason to think not.
He's done it.
He's already
Meek
done
has
it.
done it. Meek, I don't know.
Meek
Sorry.
he's definitely not Meek.
That's what I call him. Yeah. And I know that they want to get Herder going. It's really important. I think that's one of the real important aspects of this year is getting Herder going, getting him close.
They
to
can't
where he
move
was.
him.
So I would think they would start him. I'm not saying Keon's terrible. You can't start him. I'm just saying.
But
my
don't
view
do
of
that.
it is I don't think he'll start.
But don't do that. I know it's
the truth.
No. But I don't do that because I know it's election season.
The truth.
No, but it's election season. So I know what you're doing here. I'm asking you because he sounds like a politician. No, he sounds like a politician now.
I'm telling you the truth.
But Whitey, I'm asking you now. If you were Mike Brown, would you start Keon Ellis?
No, I would start Herder because they need to get Herder going. I just want you to know I'm not saying pump the brakes on Keon. He's no good. That's what you asked me. Am I thinking fans need to pump the brakes on Keon? No. Keon was one of the great stories of the year last year. But he needs to get better at what he's doing right now.
And then he'll play between the legs.
He's dribbling the ball. That's probably the weakest part of his game.
This is what I love. This is what we needed. This is what we needed, going into last season. I know I prefer this, and I know I joined. Woo! What I miss?
Mid-range.
Keon?
Yeah.
Start him. From the 916, Keon should be backing up De'Aaron. Literally 10 seconds later, different 916. Keon will start. This is great, guys. How much better is this? Because I know you had your show. How much better is this than Sasha Vezenkov talk?
This is way worse. Sasha was way more entertaining than this conversation.
This is so much better. And Sasha's trying to force his way out. How much better is this?
That was better because I got to do it with Chris. That's the way that was better.
I enjoyed.
Remember that one guy that was here during Crosstalk that said that he'd average like 20 per game? Why do I remember you really getting him on that?
Alexander Vezenkov. That's who he was saying was going to average 20.
Sasha, and now he wants to go home. He just wants to go home like Dorothy. Whitey, I don't think we ever talked about Bronny James and really just the whole situation of the Nepo babies and things like that. First 4 summer league games, 4 points, and he was 0 for 3 from 3-point land. 3 points, and he was 0 for 1 from 3-point land. 8 points, and he was 0 for 8 from 3-point land. Then 2 points, 0 for 3 from 3-point land.
0 for 15?
0 for 15. 0 for 15.
We call that a SAR
the arc. Supposed to be a 3-and-D guy. That's literally what it was. What do you think about the Bronny situation? Did it bother you when he got drafted? How do you feel now? I didn't really like how Rich Paul approached things and how he said, no, Bronny just wants to earn his own way, but he's not going to play in the G League, and things like that. So now I think based on the contract, Bronny can't even go to the G League to get better. He's got to just ride pine.
Did you happen to hear last week we had Rick Barry on?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And we asked
told a great story about him and Willie Mays, by the way. That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
Amazing story.
Rick is hilarious.
He said, I think it's great. He said, my kid, he had how many sons does he have that played in the NBA? He's got
2.
one. Another one is playing in the Olympics. So he said,
2.5.
that would be so great. And he said, of course, it's not fair at all, which is the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So he understands, if I could have done that, I would have done that. It's great for LeBron. I'm sure he enjoys it, but he says it's not fair at all. And that's why it's not so much hate for Bronny, in my opinion. Maybe some of it is, and isn't in my case. But I just feel like, come on, that's sports. One of the things we love about sports is, for the most part, and ideally, we fall short of the ideal, but ideally, the best players get to play. You earn your way. And he hasn't really done that. That's not his fault.
Right.
He didn't draft himself, but that's why people are going, did you hear Arenas and Brandon Jennings talking about it? Yeah.
They got into it,
definitely
too.
more Brandon Jennings than Gilbert Arenas on that.
Yeah, I hear it, and I believe I know we were going to talk about him on the show anymore, but Gilbert Arenas, I'm pretty sure his son is pretty nice too. So
his daughter too. His daughter's
yeah,
incredible.
yeah. Well, I got another one for you, and obviously this isn't going to make the rounds the same way that obviously Bronny did, but last night, and you know, Whitey, when we've talked baseball before, I've been an advocate, even as somebody who never got the call, or I like to tell people I'm still waiting for the call. I've been an advocate for Major League Baseball to get rid of these rounds, right? And they had 40 rounds, then it went down to 30, and nothing good really came out from the pandemic, but they did cut the rounds down to 20, and now you have the Paul Skeens of the world doing what he's doing, and I think there's been a couple closers that have gotten drafted and then played after. So you have David Ortiz's son getting drafted in the 19th round of the MLB draft. There's only 20 rounds now. D'Angelo Ortiz. I don't really know anything about D'Angelo Ortiz. I would assume he's 20 years old.
Who picked him?
The Sox.
Who do you think?
Okay. Well, that's
the Boston Red Sox. So it happens. It's just so rare. And we're going to continue to deal with this. It's just a lot of these guys just haven't been good enough. Dwayne Wade's son, not good enough. So we didn't have the conversation. Bronny was right on that line to make it polarizing to where, okay, I mean, he's not bad, but he's also LeBron said, so he's going to get in. But this stuff happens all the time. Doesn't make it right, but it happens
make it
all the
right,
time.
and still you can't blame people for going, that's not fair. It's like I know nepotism is not criminal. I know that. It's not. I'm not saying it is. I'm not suggesting it is. But if someone commits a crime, you can't say, well, it's no big deal because everyone does that. It's still, if it's still unfair,
Sure.
It's still unfair.
Yeah, it
whether
reminds me of
happens
Bart.
a lot or not.
When I take Bart and they jump over and they don't pay, because I always pay. It's not fair.
Right.
It's the same idea.
When people say, oh, it happens all the time, do you go, oh, well, then it's okay then?
No, it bugs the heck out of me.
Right.
Because I pay.
Okay, I got that. I got you.
I got my Clipper card.
All
right.
The worst thing I ever did on Bart one time, we're at the end of the line.
Can we say
And
it?
there was this guy, and I thought he was kind of decently dressed, and it was a really cold night, and I come home, and we're at the end of the line, and the guy had been on the train a long time, and I woke him up and said, hey, it's end of the line. I thought he fell asleep. And he's like, oh, I think he was on the train to stay warm. And I felt so bad.
Oh,
I was trying to help
him.
Then, hey, man, wake up in the line. He's like, oh.
That's the worst thing you've done on Bart is wake somebody up at the end of the line.
The Saint.
Come on.
Whitey the
You know how many
Saint here.
things happen on Bart? That's probably the nicest thing that's ever happened on Bart.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Hear more from Whitey the Saint, Kyle Draper, and
Goodness gracious.
Jay Johnson. They're in Vegas. Draper and Jay Johnson.
That's
Whitey,
terrible.
who else you got on the show today?
On the show today, you'll just have to listen and find out. And so will I.
There you go.
Bill's shaking today from the LA Times.
Hey,
There you
shaking
go.
nuts,
Thank
sir.
you for listening to Stiles and Watkins. Thank you to Nate. Great job as always. Congrats to our winner, Mike Epps. Tickets. We will have another giveaway
You didn't sound
tomorrow.
sincere when you said, great job, Nate. I don't think you got that.
Nate, Kyle, Simone.
Whitey's always
I don't
trying to read. Remind me of my mother.
Wow. Happy birthday, Dad. I'm going to say happy birthday to my father. Happy birthday, Dad.
Zone, hand off to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again.